Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We are now resuming our examination of item 5A. Several committee members had requested the floor before the message from the Young Professional Forum and the lunch break. I will ask the Secretariat to read the list of the committee members that had requested the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe before I start, can I again invite all the delegates, please, to take your seat. The following committee members have requested the floor. Belgium, Bulgaria, South Africa, India, Nigeria, and Greece. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. I give the floor now to the representative of Belgium.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, puisque c'est la première fois que je prends la parole, je vous félicite tout d'abord avec votre nomination. Je vous souhaite beaucoup de patience, sagesse et réussite pour cette session importante. Vous pouvez compter sur la coopération de la délégation de la Belgique, qui est composée par des représentants et des experts en patrimoine de nos régions, notamment la Flandre et la Wallonie. Au nom de la délégation, je tiens à remercier chaleureusement le pays hôte, le Royaume d'Arabie Saoudite, pour l'hospitalité et l'organisation impeccable. Avant d'aborder le point 5A, Monsieur le Président, la Belgique souhaite exprimer ses plus sincères condoléances à nos collègues et au peuple marocain. Nous sommes profondément attristés par les vies perdues et la dévastation causée par le séisme d'Al-Aouz. Notre pays fait tout ce qui est en son pouvoir pour contribuer aux nombreux efforts de secours. Bien qu'éclipsée par la souffrance humaine qui ne pourra jamais être réparée ou reconstruite, la Belgique souhaite également exprimer sa tristesse et son inquiétude pour les dommages causés aux merveilleuses médinas de Marrakech et d'Essaouari, ainsi qu'aux autres biens du patrimoine mondial dans la région. I will now continue in English. Regarding item 5A, we would like to congratulate the Secretariat on the achievements and the impressive list of successful activities. We thank the Director of the World Heritage Center and his team for the excellent report and presentation. Belgium shares the many priorities addressed, notably Priority Africa, which we will discuss under item 5B. We encourage the continuous efforts to innovate and create synergies with other UNESCO programs and conventions as reflected in the report. Belgium attaches great importance to capacity building as a pillar to achieve conservation, and we noted with satisfaction the great number of local activities in this regard. We'd like to ask the Secretariat and the advisory bodies who also take active part in this to examine the feasibility to increase the global impact of these activities, such as workshops and seminars, so that their impact exceeds the local level. In the same spirit, we'd like to stress the importance of the role of the site managers and welcome the initiatives to involve them more in the convention. We thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as well as previous hosts, for organizing the Site Managers Forum and encourage further awareness raising in order to increase participation to these events. I conclude by expressing our support to the Mexican amendment to the DR. And finally, Belgium welcomes the ratification of the 1972 Convention by its 195th member, Tuvalu. The universality and hence importance of the Convention is hereby once more demonstrated. I thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we go to Bulgaria. You have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Avec nos émotions les plus profondes, la Bulgarie se joint au message de condoléances et solidarité envers le peuple marocain. Comme c'est la première fois que nous prenons la parole, permettez-nous, au nom du ministre de la Culture de Bulgarie, M. Krastev, qui nous a fait l'honneur de nous joindre ici, et de notre délégation, de saluer le président de la 45e session élargie du comité, et de saluer aussi les manières avec lesquelles vous menez nos discussions. Vous pouvez compter sur le soutien et la coopération de notre délégation. Nous remercions aussi le Royaume de l'Arabie saoudite de son hospitalité et l'organisation impeccable de cette session élargie. La Bulgarie voudrait également remercier le directeur du Centre du patrimoine mondial pour le rapport qui nous a été soumis sur ses activités et sur la mise en œuvre des décisions du comité. La délégation de Bulgarie note avec appréciation les activités réalisées dans les différentes régions du monde avec une attention particulière portée sur des priorités de l'UNESCO comme l'Afrique, l'égalité des genres, la jeunesse et les petits États insulaires en développement. Nous saluons les efforts infaillibles du Centre du patrimoine mondial ainsi que ses partenaires pour le travail réalisé en vue de la mise en œuvre des décisions du comité. La Bulgarie considère qu'il est également essentiel d'accroître la participation des communautés locales à la gestion des sites du patrimoine mondial en mettant en œuvre des politiques spécifiques avec le soutien des formations sur terrain organisées par le Centre du patrimoine mondial. Nous restons prêts à mobiliser nos efforts afin de parvenir à un équilibre entre la conservation du patrimoine mondial et la nécessité du développement en tenant compte également des effets du changement climatique sur les sites du patrimoine mondial. L'approche multidisciplinaire et la promotion de la synergie entre les conventions culturelles sont une priorité pour la Bulgarie et nous sommes satisfaits de voir le programme de l'éducation et le patrimoine mondial et la collaboration renforcée avec les conventions mentionnées dans la présentation de M. Elondo. Tenant compte des changements climatiques qui touchent chaque aspect de notre vie, nous saluons l'engagement continu avec des programmes des sciences naturelles de l'UNESCO et avec d'autres mécanismes internationaux. Notre pays salue la pertinence des efforts du Centre du patrimoine mondial dans la poursuite des objectifs de développement durable et responsable et l'encouragement de l'inscription des sites des pays qui ne sont pas présentés sur la liste du patrimoine mondial pour les rendre encore plus équitables, crédibles et représentatifs. Pour conclure, notre pays considère la préservation du patrimoine mondial comme un facteur de développement durable et responsable pour l'avancement de toute l'humanité et pour cette raison reste fortement engagé dans la mise en œuvre de la Convention du patrimoine mondial. Je vous remercie de l'attention.
Thank you very much. So now we give the floor to South Africa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the delegation of South Africa wishes to extend our appreciation to the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the warm welcome, hospitality, and the magnificent performance that we had last night. The generosity in hosting us as we meet in person once again after an extensive absence due to COVID-19 is highly appreciated. May I also take the opportunity to congratulate you on your appointment as our chair for this extended 45th session of the World Heritage Committee. We wish to affirm our commitment and support to you throughout the session to enable a conducive environment for constructive deliberations. We further express our sincere appreciation to the former chair, Her Highness Princess Haifa Al-Mogrin, for the skillful and professional manner in which she chaired the transitional period of the committee and wish her well in her new appointment bestowed on her by the Kingdom. Mr. Chair, the last 4 years have been a challenging time, including those who work in the conservation sector. We therefore wish to express our appreciation to the World Heritage Center and in particular the Africa Unit for the tireless support they've rendered to African states. Africa's contribution during the committee meeting is dependent on preparedness of African states. We therefore acknowledge the support extended to the Africa Group and to my own delegation to ensure that issues of importance to Africa are tabled during the committee's annual meetings. We further note with concern that African states are disproportionately listed on sites in danger. And this is quite concerning in the context of other impacts that affect the African continent, such as the recent disaster that was experienced in the Kingdom of Morocco, for which we express our condolences to the people of Morocco. Further, that most of our sites are also affected by the impacts of climate change, as we all know, and conflict also in some parts of the continent. In that context, therefore, we would urge the Center and the advisory bodies to continue to support the African continent in ensuring that the African member states continue to bring sites that can be included on the World Heritage List. As we noted, there's about 12 countries that do not have sites listed. Furthermore, in our efforts towards making the World Heritage List more representative and credible, we appreciate the efforts of the Center to identify those sites and those states that are in most need of support to inscribe their list. Mr. Chair, we have often heard of the need to safeguard the reputation of the Convention. And therefore, in this regard, state parties are therefore continuously reminded to abide by the operational guidelines to ensure that timeframes are strictly adhered to. Accordingly, in line with Rule 45 of the procedure, we encourage the World Heritage Center to release the documents at least 6 weeks before the beginning of the session, as we noted that some documents were only released a few days ago, which does not give state parties adequate time to prepare. In conclusion, Mr. Chair, South Africa would like to congratulate the World Heritage Center on the comprehensive report that we have received. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So giving now India, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excellencies and colleagues, Namaste and Salam Walaikum from India. At the outset, India would like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for excellent organization of the extended 45th session of the World Heritage Committee. India also would like to congratulate Mr. Abdullah Al-Tokes for assuming the position of the chair of the committee. India offers full support and cooperation for the smooth organization of the committee meeting. We join other state parties in expressing our solidarity with the Kingdom of Morocco for the loss of life and property. We would like to thank the Director of the World Heritage Center for presenting an exhaustive report. The report summarizes the role and functioning of the World Heritage Center and the Secretariat. India has gone through the exhaustive report prepared and submitted by the Center. With Tuvalu becoming the 195th member state, the Convention is one of the most ratified legal instruments in the world, celebrating heritage of humanity. India notes with satisfaction various indicators. We appreciate the Secretariat to have functioned during the very difficult time of COVID. We commend the successful conducting of various meetings that were held in hybrid mode or in person, which included the ad hoc and open-ended working group meetings. India has noted various challenges being faced by the Secretariat, from lack of adequate human resources to funds. There is a need to increase human resources as well as financial resources for the Secretariat for the implementation of the Convention. We need to work towards developing alternate financial models for the effective functioning of the Center, and we compliment its efforts and responses in the past 2 years, despite various circumstantial hiccups. We would like to congratulate Madame DG, ADG Culture, Director WHC, and the Center and their team for their continuing efforts and assure them of India's full support. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. Nigeria, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Nigeria would like to take this opportunity to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for hosting this very important section and the hospitality extended to us. Let me also congratulate the chair for assuming the leadership of this section and the excellent manner in which you have been conducting this meeting. I also want to commend the role played by Her Excellency, Her Highness Princess Haifa during her tenure. Nigeria will always be ready to support the chair for this successful session. I join others to extend our sympathy to the people and the government of the Kingdom of Morocco on the devastating earthquake and the loss of life. Mr. Chair, I would like to thank the Director of the World Heritage Center for the comprehensive report on the activities and implementation of the World Heritage Committee's decision in the recent past. We indeed appreciate the reference and in the report to the climate change challenge as posing a significant threat to the World Heritage property and the work of the governing bodies in guiding responses to the impact of the climate change on the World Heritage since 2005. Nigeria believes that these efforts must be sustained and intensified, as recent events around us prove the more challenging time is ahead. While it has been established that World Heritage sites are levers for biodiversity conservation, mobilizing for climate change adaptation plans and more training for site managers on biodiversity are good steps to further strengthen our action in this regard. Please allow me also to commend the work of the World Heritage Center for the strategy for World Heritage in Africa, developing following the adaptation of the Global Priority Africa and flagship program adopted in 2021. We recognize the efforts of the center so far and look forward to examining this issue further in item 5C later in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Greece.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At the outset, allow me to congratulate the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the excellent organization of the 45th extended session, as well as you, Mr. Chair, for your election and the professional way in which you are conducting the works of our session. The delegation of Greece is extremely pleased to participate for the first time since our election as a member state of this committee since 2021 in an ordinary session. We would like to express our commitment to the spirited principles of the World Heritage Convention and to assure you, Mr. Chair, that we will make our utmost so as to have a very constructive meeting in consensual spirit. We also echo previous speakers in expressing our deep condolences to the Kingdom of Morocco concerning the losses of human lives and property as a consequence of recent devastating earthquakes. Regarding Agenda Item 5A, we would like to thank the Director of the World Heritage Center for this excellent and detailed report, covering a wide range of issues on the implementation of the 1972 Convention. Among the various topics analyzed in this report, we would like to highlight the importance of further enhancing synergies among the UNESCO cultural conventions and other relevant UNESCO programs. From our experience as members of both the World Heritage Committee and the Second Protocol to the Hague Convention committees, we strongly believe that useful measures can be developed and strong tools created through synergies, thus ensuring the integrated protection of monuments of great importance for humanity, both natural and cultural, in all their different aspects and values they may represent. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Your Excellency. So now we have some state parties requested the floor. I ask the Secretariat to list their names.
Thank you, Chairperson. The following observers have requested the floor. Djibouti, Ireland, Armenia, Lebanon, Azerbaijan, Kuwait, Palestine, and Slovakia. So, excuse me, I forgot China and Slovakia.
Thank you, Director. Djibouti, the floor is yours.
Monsieur le Président, Excellences, chers collègues, Monsieur l'ADG Culture, Monsieur le Directeur du Centre, tout d'abord, permettez-moi, Monsieur le Président, de vous adresser mes plus sincères félicitations pour votre élection à la présidente de cette importante conférence. Je tiens à vous assurer le plein soutien de notre délégation, tout en exprimant notre coopération active pour faire de cette conférence un succès. Notre profonde gratitude envers le Royaume d'Arabie Saoudite, le pays hôte de cet événement important tant attendu. Nous sommes véritablement reconnaissants pour l'accueil chaleureux et l'hospitalité exceptionnelle que nous avons reçue depuis notre arrivée. Monsieur le Président, la République de Djibouti s'associe à la peine du peuple frère du Maroc et lui présente ses condoléances les plus attristées suite au tremblement de terre dévastateur. Monsieur le Président, tout en remerciant le directeur du Centre du patrimoine mondial pour son rapport détaillé, notre ami M. Lazare Nlundou, le patrimoine mondial représente la quintessence de l'histoire de l'humanité et de la splendeur de la nature. Ces sites et ces monuments portent les récits de civilisations passées et présentes et abritent une biodiversité précieuse. Ils sont les témoins de notre passé, les piliers de notre identité et source d'inspiration pour notre avenir. Et il est de notre responsabilité de prendre des mesures pour sauvegarder ces merveilles et nous devons nous engager à renforcer nos efforts collectifs après promouvoir l'éducation et la sensibilisation. Monsieur le Président, cependant, permettez-moi de vous adresser quelques mots concernant un aspect critique de notre engagement envers la Convention relative à la protection du patrimoine culturel et naturel. En effet, selon les statistiques, nous observons que certaines régions bénéficient d'une part très élevée des inscriptions au patrimoine mondial, tandis que d'autres sont nettement sous-représentées. Les chiffres, Monsieur le Président, sont têtus. L'Europe et l'Amérique du Nord, avec 47,19% des inscrits, jouissent d'une part bien importante. L'Afrique et les pays arabes sont avec une part de 8,47%, sont inégalement répartis. Ces déséquilibres ne limitent pas seulement aux statistiques, mais ils relèvent aussi des inégalités et des disparités significatives à l'accès aux avantages de la protection du patrimoine mondial. C'est pourquoi il est important d'agir, Monsieur le Président. Nous sommes conscients que cela nécessite une mobilisation des ressources, une sensibilisation accrue et un examen des critères pour garantir une représentation plus équilibrée, mais nous sommes convaincus que ceci renforcera la crédibilité de la Convention et assurera que chaque région ait la possibilité de partager son héritage. En 2023, il y a 12 pays africains qui n'ont pas encore un site écrit et 3 qui n'ont pas encore établi de liste indicative. Monsieur le Président, la République de Djibouti présentera très prochainement un premier bien inscrit de sa liste indicative mondiale. Pour conclure, je vous exhorte à travailler ensemble avec détermination et passion pour protéger notre patrimoine mondial culturel et naturel afin de construire un avenir meilleur et que nos actions d'aujourd'hui façonnent le monde que nous laisserons aux générations futures. Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much. So we have now 2 more states, and we would like to close the list. Now we have... Can you go over them, Mr. Lazar?
Thank you, Chairperson. I think we also had Burkina Faso and Guinea. I think that's the list, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I would like to give the floor now to Ireland, but I would like to remind all state parties that we are running behind a little bit and would like to stick to the schedule, so all observers has 2 minutes. Ireland, the floor is yours.
Shukran, Said Al-Aris. Ireland congratulates the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for hosting this conference, and we congratulate you, sir, on your election as our chairperson. We extend our solidarity and our sympathies to the government and people of the Kingdom of Morocco following the weekend's devastating earthquakes. We thank the World Heritage Centre and you, Mr. Director, for the comprehensive report before us. The past 2 years have been marked by many emergency situations, and we applaud the World Heritage Centre for its key role in providing vital support for the protection of cultural and natural heritage in emergency situations around the world. This includes natural disasters and situations of conflict, including, as our Director General mentioned, Yemen and Ukraine. Ireland aligns itself with a statement to be read with regard to Ukraine by our colleague from the Slovak Republic. For the past 2 years, my country has voluntarily increased its contribution to the World Heritage Fund and has contributed a total of €200,000 for the protection of cultural heritage in Ukraine. Last year, and again this year, we have made a contribution to the Fund for the Protection of Cultural Property in the event of armed conflict. We are ready to consider further requests for contribution as they arise. Mr. President, through improved legislation and guidance, Ireland strives to achieve a balance between sustainable development and World Heritage preservation for the benefit of local communities, and we encourage the Secretariat to continue its valuable work in this regard. We note with appreciation the special attention that is paid to two global priorities, Africa and gender equality, and to UNESCO's two priority groups, youth and small island developing states. Recognizing the unique challenges facing many small island states, we are actively considering now how we can provide support to the World Heritage Center for SIDS-related capacity building initiatives. And as an island nation ourselves, we recognize the special challenges posed by climate change. We commend the World Heritage Center for continuing to develop and implement guiding responses to impacts of climate change on world heritage. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Armenia, the floor is yours.
شكراً السيد الرئيس. يطيب لي في البداية أن أتوجه بجزيل الشكر وعميق الامتنان للمملكة العربية السعودية حكومة وشعباً على حفاوة الاستقبال وكرم الضيافة وعلى كل ما تم توفيرها لنجاح أعمال لجنتنا هذه. I will switch to English now. The Armenian delegation extends its gratitude to the World Heritage Center for the comprehensive report. Armenia has been a fortunate beneficiary of invaluable support and collaboration, as exemplified by the remarkable pilot project, Management of World Heritage Properties of Religious Interest in Armenia. This project, supported by the German World Heritage Foundation, enhances collaboration between the 1954 Hague Convention and its protocols, as well as the World Heritage Convention, all aimed at safeguarding Armenia's cultural heritage. We commend UNESCO's thematic programs, particularly their success in promoting sustainable tourism for small island developing states. As co-chair of the group of Friends of the SIDS, Armenia is pleased with the positive outcomes and solidarity shown by the group's members. We're committed to providing ongoing support for their efforts. Armenia appreciates UNESCO's efforts to protect cultural heritage in conflict zones worldwide. Preserving humanity's heritage is a priority for us, and we are committed to further supporting the Revive the Spirit of Mosul initiative in Iraq. However, we must also focus on the severe damage to the Armenian cultural heritage in and around Nagorno-Karabakh, particularly in regions controlled by Azerbaijan since the war of 2020. There have been numerous acts of destruction, appropriation, and vandalism, notably in Shushi and Hadrut regions of Nagorno-Karabakh. For the past 3 years, Azerbaijan has obstructed the UNESCO mission in and around Nagorno-Karabakh, proposed by the Director General in November 2020. Today, Nagorno-Karabakh's population and heritage are in grave danger due to Azerbaijan's ongoing blockade of Lachin corridor since December 2022, aimed at ethnic cleansing and eradicating Armenian cultural presence. Therefore, we urgently reiterate the necessity of the swift deployment of this mission, confident it will significantly protect the region's heritage. In conclusion, we deeply appreciate the World Heritage Center's efforts to enhance member states' capacities and align programs with UNESCO's global priorities like Priority Africa and groups like SIDS. I thank you.
Thank you. Lubnan.
شكرا السيد الرئيس وإذا سمحتم لي سوف أتكلم باللغة الفرنسية اختصارا للوقت. Monsieur le Président, je souhaite commencer mon intervention par vous féliciter pour votre élection et à travers vous féliciter les autorités du Royaume d'Arabie Saoudite pour l'excellence de l'organisation et la chaleur de l'accueil qui nous a été réservé. Je présente aussi les condoléances du Liban au Royaume frère du Maroc pour le séisme meurtrier qui l'a frappé. Monsieur le Président, durant la matinée, nous avons entendu le rapport du Centre du patrimoine mondial, ses réalisations, ses succès et aussi les défis qui l'attendent, notamment les conséquences des changements climatiques sur les biens du patrimoine mondial. S'il est élu au membre du comité, le Liban souhaitera prendre toute sa part, être partenaire de la réflexion et de la mise en œuvre des décisions qui en découleront. Pour cette raison, le Liban présente 2 experts, Jad Tabet, que beaucoup connaissent déjà, et Yasmine Makaroun, qui sera là demain. Et d'ailleurs, le Liban est en train de travailler sur ce sujet puisqu'il est actuellement vice-président du groupe de travail sur les changements climatiques et les biens du patrimoine mondial. Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much. Azerbaijan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At the outset, on behalf of our delegation, I would like to thank the host country, the government and the people of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the excellent organization of the work of the committee and their generous hospitality, and wish all the best for the chair. As well as would like to express our condolences and solidarity with the people and the government of Morocco. Mr. Chair, as you know, Azerbaijan pays a special attention to the capacity building activities. The resources and the capacities of the state parties are not the same, which is of course a concern for us. So we are for a balanced and fair geographic representation on the World Heritage List. In this regard, Azerbaijan is ready to share its expertise for the effective conservation of the heritage sites. Azerbaijan actively supports the programs and initiatives for the effective conservation and protection of cultural and natural heritage in different parts of the world through Azerbaijan UNESCO Fund and Trust, which was established in 2013. On October 9 to 13 this year, the administration of the State Historical Architectural Reserve, Charishar, a public authority in charge of the management and preservation of the walled city of Baku, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, will be organizing an international conference on livable and sustainable heritage cities in Baku, Azerbaijan. The conference is expected to involve managers of the Turkic World Heritage Sites, along with participants from different international and regional organizations. The work of the World Heritage Center with stakeholders in Africa, both with relevant organizations and state parties, is very important in the framework of the capacity building strategy. As you know, the National Commission of Azerbaijan, in partnership with the ADA University, has organized 2 capacity building programs for 24 Secretaries Generals from the African National Commissions for UNESCO. Azerbaijan financially contributed to the Africa World Heritage Fund in the amount of 100,000 USDs. Mr. Chair, unfortunately, the delegation of Armenia has no limits of hypocrisy. The country that kept Azerbaijan's 1/5 territory under occupation for 30 years and was condemned by UN Security Council resolutions and demanded immediate withdrawal, is speaking about the protection of the cultural heritage. The country that completely destroyed and devastated Azerbaijan's cultural heritage in the liberated territories of Azerbaijan, as well as in Armenia itself, where the Azerbaijanis were completely expelled. As we speak today, the historical Azerbaijani Tapabashi quarter in Yerevan, which is the historical Azerbaijani territory, the only area of the historical old town that has survived to the city, is at the risk of the same fate. Mr. Chair, using this opportunity, I would like to wish all of us deliberation in our further work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Kuwait.
السيد الرئيس للدورة 45 للجنة التراث العالمي، السيد مساعد المدير العام للثقافة، سعادة السفراء والمندوبين لدى منظمة اليونسكو، السيدات والسادة، يسعدني في البداية أن أعرب عن وافر شكري وتقديري للمملكة العربية السعودية للجهود التي بذلتها لكي يتسنى للجنة التراث العالمي الاجتماع وعقد هذه الدورة 45 الموسعة حضورياً، وذلك بعد عدة دورات عقدت عن بعد عبر الإنترنت. كما أود أن أشكر المملكة على حسن الاستقبال، كرم الضيافة، وحفاوة المعاملة التي حظينا بها جميعاً. كما أود أن أشكر سمو الأميرة هيفاء المقرن على كل الجهود التي قامت بها خلال رئاستها للاجتماعات الاستثنائية لهذه اللجنة، وأتمنى للرئيس الجديد كل التوفيق والنجاح. في مستهل هذه الدورة 45 للجنة التراث، أتمنى التوفيق لكافة الدول التي ستقدم بملفات ترشيح مواقع بغي إدراجها على لائحة التراث العالمي، حيث أن كل موقع جديد على القائمة يعتبر إنجازاً جماعياً يضمن حماية تراثنا الثقافي والطبيعي الجماعي الذي نتقاسمه. وفي هذا السياق وتوازن مع تنوع الملفات المطروحة من كل المجموعات الجغرافية، نتمنى على اللجنة التنويع الجغرافي أيضاً في تسمية الخبراء لكي يمثل هؤلاء أكبر عدد من الثقافات والخبرات من المناطق الجغرافية في العالم. كما نشجع أيضاً على تطوير وميكنة آلية تقديم وتقييم الملفات، وهو إجراء قد يكون له العديد من المزايا، إحداها هو توفير التكلفة مما لا ينبغي إهماله. وفي الختام أتمنى لأعضاء اللجنة والمراقبين لهذه الدورة النجاح والتوفيق، وشكرا.
شكرا جزيلا. فلسطين.
شكرا سيدي الرئيس. أود بداية أن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل للمملكة العربية السعودية الشقيقة ولجلالة الملك سليمان بن عبد العزيز آل سعود حفظه الله ورعاه، ولولي العهد محمد بن سلمان حفظه الله وسدد خطاه، وللشعب العربي السعودي الشقيق لحفاوة الاستقبال وحسن الضيافة. واسمحوا لي سيدي الرئيس أن أتقدم أيضاً بالشكر للسيدة المديرة العامة للمنظمة لجهودها المتواصلة لحفظ التراث وخاصة في مناطق النزاع، وكذلك لمركز التراث العالمي مديراً وطاقماً، وللهيئات الاستشارية جميعاً وخاصة الآيكوموس لجهودهم أيضاً لحفظ التراث في المناطق جميعها. سيدي الرئيس، نحن على ثقة أن هذه الدورة ستكون مميزة بقيادتكم الحكيمة، ونأمل أن يتم في هذه الدورة الأخذ بعين الاعتبار الصعوبات الجمة التي تواجهها الدول الأطراف الأقل تطوراً، وخاصة في بناء القدرات لمدراء المواقع المدرجة، وأن يتم استضافة أكبر عدد ممكن من المدراء لهذا الغرض في الدورات القادمة. ومن أجل تحسين التوازن في لائحة التراث العالمي أن يتم إعادة النظر في البند 12 في هذه الدورة للملفات، على أن يكون تقديم الملفات نسبياً وتناسباً مع عدد المواقع المدرجة لكل دولة طرف. وأخيراً ملاحظة عملية، نعاني من صعوبة وصول الواي فاي، فيا حبذا أن يتم معالجة هذا الأمر. والموضوع الآخر، الآن أصبحت التكييف مقبولا، هذا الصباح كان باردا جدا، فنشكركم ونرجو أن يتم معالجة موضوع الواي فاي. شكرا سيدي الرئيس.
شكرا جزيلا. Yesterday it was the orientation session, so we tested the AC temperature. So consider it part of the orientation session. China, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. My delegation would like to laud you for your excellent leadership in conducting the meeting in a very smooth manner. We also laud the former chair, Her Excellency Princess Haifa Al Makrim, for her efforts to make the preparation for the current session. We are grateful to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the hospitality provided to all participants. As the host country of the extended 44th session of the World Heritage Committee, we know very well how demanding it is to host such important session. We commend Mr. Nassar, the director of the World Heritage Center, and the leadership of ADG Anthony for organizing various activities in implementing the World Heritage Committee's previous decisions, and for preparing his very first session of the World Heritage Committee meeting as the director of the World Heritage Center. As the co-chair of the Group of Friends for Priority Africa, I'm glad to see both the Director General and the Director of the World Heritage Center highlight the importance of assisting African member states to inscribe more sites in the World Heritage List, in particular for the 12 African countries which have no sites in the list. China will continue to support the World Heritage Center for capacity building for state parties in Africa. UNESCO 2 Category 2 centers in China in the field of the World Heritage will also provide support to state parties in Asia Pacific, Africa, and of course, small developed island countries, and for capacity building for heritage conservation. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Slovakia, the floor is yours.
Dear Mr. Chair, let me congratulate you on your election and thank you and your country for your great hospitality. I would also like to express my most sincere condolences to the Kingdom of Morocco and its people and send them a lot of strength and solidarity. Distinguished members of the World Heritage Committee, I'm delivering this statement on behalf of 47 state parties to the Convention in a connection to the comprehensive report of the World Heritage Center, especially information on its activities in Ukraine. More than a year and a half following the start of Russia's illegal full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Ukrainian sites of cultural and historical significance continue to be attacked and damaged. Repeated appeals by UNESCO to cease these attacks and safeguard World Heritage sites have only been met with intensification of violence by the Russian Federation. In July and August, Russian attacks repeatedly hit sites in the historic centers of Odessa and Lviv, both on the World Heritage list. Odessa in particular has faced near constant attacks since Russia unilaterally terminated the internationally negotiated Black Sea Grain Initiative. According to Ukrainian officials, dozens of Odessa's historic buildings and monuments have since been damaged and destroyed, including the Transfiguration Cathedral. Russia's actions as part of its war strike at the very core of our organization's objectives, including the obligation not to undertake any deliberate step that may directly or indirectly damage any part of a cultural or natural heritage site. The scale of destruction and Russia's own justification of its war of aggression based on the denial of Ukrainian culture, history, and identity shows that it's not only a war of conquest, but a war on culture itself. It is imperative that our organizations work to ensure that attacks on cultural sites are not normalized. In this context, we, 47 states parties to the Convention, strongly support the recommendation to inscribe the St. Sophia Cathedral in Kiev and the historic center of Lviv on the World Heritage List in danger. We call once again on the Russian Federation to comply with its obligation under Article 6 of the Convention and reiterate our calls to end its war of aggression against Ukraine, completely withdraw its military forces from the territory of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders extending to its territorial waters, and cease its destruction of tangible and intangible cultural heritage in Ukraine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Russian Federation.
Спасибо, уважаемый господин председатель. Прежде всего, хотел принести извинения за моих коллег, которые нарушили законы гостеприимства и позволили себе на этой священной земле оскорбительные выпады в адрес моей страны, с которой Саудовскую Аравию связывают сердечные дружественные отношения и общие подходы в отношении ценностей сохранения культурных традиций и наследия. Прискорбно, что такой авторитетный экспертный форум, как Комитет всемирного наследия, пытаются поставить на службу интересам агрессивного меньшинства, нанося самый серьезный ущерб будущему Конвенции 1972 года. Прозвучавшие голословные, трафаретные обвинения, особенно лицемерные, что звучат от лица многих тех стран, вооруженные силы которых не щадили человеческих жизней, применяя ковровые бомбардировки, уничтожили, а где-то и стерли с лица земли сотни объектов культурного и природного наследия в разных уголках планеты, в том числе в арабском мире. Эти страны, вспомним, беззастенчиво грабили другие народы, незаконно присвоили и до сих пор удерживают тысячи культурных ценностей, которые им не принадлежат. Политика этих стран и кровавые преступления колониализма оставили глубокие шрамы в памяти народов. Об их последствиях мы будем говорить еще на этой сессии. Кто, как не подписанты нынешнего обращения, препятствует мирному урегулированию на Украине, подталкивая эту страну к продолжению военных действий, поставляя Киеву оружие и боеприпасы, в том числе запрещенные международными договорами. От этого оружия пострадали немало объектов не только на Украине, но и в России. Мы неоднократно говорили, еще раз повторю, Российская Федерация строго придерживается своих обязательств в рамках Конвенции 1972 года и других международных документов. Вооруженные силы Российской Федерации не наносит намеренных ударов по культурным объектам. Напротив, украинские войска регулярно используют их в военных целях, намеренно располагают свои вооружения и военных в жилых кварталах и в культурных объектах, о чем свидетельствует информация в интернете, да и в самой украинской блогосфере. И реальная угроза наследию Украины исходит от безответственных действий вооруженных сил этой страны. Спасибо.
Thank you. Burkina Faso.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. La délégation du Burkina Faso vous remercie de nous donner la parole. Pour la première fois que nous la prenons, je voudrais, au nom de l'ensemble de la délégation, vous féliciter pour la conduite des travaux. Par la même occasion, qu'il nous soit permis de remercier les autorités du Royaume d'Arabie Saoudite pour l'accueil hospitalier, de même que les commodités de notre séjour. Nos sincères salutations et félicitations sont adressées à l'ensemble des États partis ainsi qu'à toute l'équipe d'organisation de la 45e session élargie du Comité du patrimoine mondial et particulièrement la Direction générale de l'UNESCO, le secteur de la culture et le Centre du patrimoine mondial d'avoir réussi le pari de la tenue de la présente session au sortir d'une difficile année 2022 marquée par l'impact de la COVID-19. Ma délégation voudrait féliciter le Centre du patrimoine pour la qualité de son rapport. Le Centre n'a cessé d'accompagner le Burkina Faso dans la mise en œuvre de la Convention du patrimoine mondial culturel et naturel. Pour ce qui est des actions en cours, nous notons les différents appuis techniques dont notre pays, le Burkina Faso, a bénéficié dans le cadre du processus de préparation de la proposition de nomination de la Cour royale de Tiébélé sur la liste du patrimoine mondial. C'est également le lieu de remercier les bailleurs de fonds en rappelant le soutien financier et technique dont le Burkina Faso a bénéficié récemment de la part de la République fédérale d'Allemagne dans le cadre de son programme intitulé SOS Héritage. Cette assistance a permis de surmonter l'impact de la pandémie de Covid-19 sur la gestion et la conservation des sites de métallurgie ancienne de fer du Burkina Faso, sites inscrits sur le patrimoine mondial. Nous voulons enfin relever que dans le cadre de la mise en œuvre du plan d'action, le Burkina Faso a renforcé son cadre de dialogue avec le Centre du patrimoine mondial en vue d'une actualisation de la liste indicative. Pour terminer, nous exprimons notre profonde compassion et nos sincères condoléances aux pays et amis du Maroc pour les pertes en vies humaines causées par le séisme. Nous formulons un prompt rétablissement aux blessés et je vous remercie.
Thank you. So the last one, Guinea, the floor is yours.
Oui. Merci, Monsieur le Président. En prenant la parole pour la première fois, je voudrais tout particulièrement féliciter Monsieur le Président pour l'excellente conduite de nos travaux. Je voudrais également féliciter et remercier le Royaume de l'Arabie saoudite pour son hospitalité et pour toutes les dispositions pratiques envisagées, qui reçoivent au nom de la délégation guinéenne notre profonde reconnaissance et notre gratitude. Mon pays, la République de Guinée, remercie et encourage l'ADG Culture et le directeur du Centre du patrimoine mondial et toute son équipe pour tous les efforts, car nous reconnaissons que les défis à relever sont immenses dans le cadre notamment de la priorité Afrique. Je ne saurais terminer sans pour autant avoir une pensée pieuse et une solidarité pour le peuple frère du Maroc, pour le séisme qui a provoqué des dégâts matériels importants et hélas des pertes en vies humaines. Que l'âme des disparus repose en paix. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. So I would like to ask Mr. Londo Somo to answer some questions that raised during the remarks.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Ce sera très rapide puisque nous sommes très en retard sur l'agenda. Je voudrais simplement, au nom du secrétariat, remercier tous les membres du comité ainsi que les États membres observateurs qui ont pris la parole pour apprécier le travail du comité, le rapport qui a été fait et surtout toutes les questions que vous avez soulevées qui sont liées à la priorité Afrique et à d'autres travaux. Nous sommes très honorés par vos encouragements et je peux vous assurer que le secrétariat continuera de faire le travail. Et nous vous remercions beaucoup d'avoir aussi souligné effectivement la nécessité de continuer à soutenir les efforts du secrétariat et aussi de renforcer les questions liées un peu aux ressources humaines du secrétariat. I would like to quickly answer the question asked by the Russian Federation regarding what has been concretely done with regard to heritage of religious interest. And I think I will use the intervention by the distinguished delegate of Armenia, who in his response has mentioned one of the activities that has been conducted through the initiative on the heritage of religion's interest. You will remember that in our last session it has been decided that also this initiative will be mainstreamed within activities of the regional units, while overall guidance on the governance, management and use of properties of religious interest will continue to be carried out in close cooperation with the advisory bodies. And this is what we started doing already, and that's in this regard that is indicated in document 5A in this, the framework of the pilot project mentioned by Armenia and funded by the German World Heritage Foundation, but also the international assistance. So, and we will continue to use the guidance of this program and, of course, continue to monitor and also provide capacity building and advice with regard to the protection of this type of site. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much. So we come at the end of our interventions on item 5A, and therefore I ask my dear colleagues to proceed with the adoption of the draft decision 45-COM 5A. But before doing so, I would like to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendment on the draft decision proposed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have received one amendment on the draft decision 45-COM 5A. The amendment proposed by the distinguished delegation of Mexico is supported by the distinguished delegation of Oman, and it is to add a new para 9, which was also rephrased by the distinguished delegation of Mexico and submitted again this morning. So the paragraph, as you see on the screen, reads as, takes note with satisfaction of the activities carried out around the 2011 recommendation on the historic urban landscape and encourages the Secretariat to regularly share updates on its implementation in support of the World Heritage Convention. We may request the distinguished delegation of Oman to reconfirm on this rephrased para submitted by the distinguished delegation of Mexico. A number of committee members took the floor and few also expressed their support on this amendment. So this is the final amendment proposed for adoption. Thank you.
So are there any comments? So it seems there's nothing, no one wants to have any comment, but since there is no intervention, I propose that we adopt the draft decision as a whole. Mexico? Mexico, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Nada más quisiéramos explicar un poco más brevemente por qué el motivo de esta presentación. Desde 2011 que un comité intergubernamental de expertos entregó el informe para un nuevo instrumento internacional, la recomendación sobre el paisaje urbano histórico, México apoyó al subdirector general para la cultura de la UNESCO en ese momento, el señor Francesco Bandarín, para impulsar su adopción por parte de la Conferencia General. Desde entonces es uno de los instrumentos normativos más puntuales con los que se cuenta actualmente para la conservación integrada de los conjuntos urbanos históricos. El concepto significó un avance considerable en las definiciones teóricas para la gestión y conservación de los centros históricos y otros sitios del patrimonio mundial, y muy pronto países en la región de América Latina y el Caribe, como Chile, la instrumentó exitosamente en Valparaíso, y México en Guanajuato y Oaxaca. Recordemos finalmente que en 2018 la directora general de la UNESCO solicitó a los estados parte de la convención atender una consulta para establecer un diagnóstico fidedigno de la importancia que ha representado la aplicación de esta recomendación, principalmente en las políticas y en las buenas prácticas patrimoniales a nivel nacional, regional e internacional, mismo que fue puntualmente respondido por los gestores y por los puntos focales de los centros históricos del patrimonio mundial. Y finalmente, en 2021, durante la conmemoración de los 10 años de existencia de la recomendación, la subdirectora de Patrimonio Mundial de la UNESCO, que coordina el programa de ciudades históricas del patrimonio mundial, junto con diversos países, entre ellos el nuestro, divulgaron el documento Llamada a la Acción, Recomendación de la UNESCO sobre el paisaje urbano histórico, llevándose en 2022 a cabo la tercera consulta a los Estados miembros de la UNESCO sobre la implementación de dicha recomendación y sus resultados. Por eso hemos presentado esta enmienda, señor presidente y estimado director del Centro del Patrimonio Mundial. Gracias.
Thank you very much. So I propose to adopt the decision St. Vincent and Grenadine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to, we want to support the proposal of Mexico. We see that this proposal is very important, and the delegate of Mexico explained very well why. And this recommendation is very important, and it reinforces also the synergies with other convention recommendation. I mean, the spirit of the synergies and in the follow-up of this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I propose to adopt the decision as amended. Any comments or objections? Sultanate Oman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to see also our country because we co-authored this from the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you. So I see none. I therefore declare draft decision 45-5A adopted as amended. So, dear colleagues, we now need to examine our next item concerning the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the World Heritage Convention. The relevant document is 45-13. This report on the activities held and planned within the framework of the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the adoption of the World Heritage Convention will now be introduced by the Director of the World Heritage Center, Mr. Elnodu Asumo. Please, you have the floor now.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je suis heureux de partager avec vous, par le biais du document 13, un aperçu sur les activités menées aussi bien par l'UNESCO que par ses partenaires, dont vous, bien sûr, pour célébrer le 50e anniversaire de la Convention du patrimoine mondial. Donc, comme vous savez, le 16 novembre 2022 est une date ayant marqué notre calendrier. La Convention du patrimoine mondial a célébré son 50e anniversaire. Et ces 50 années de succès et d'engagement auprès de la communauté internationale, et comme il a été déjà rappelé, avec une ratification de 195 États, elle se distingue donc comme l'une des conventions les plus ratifiées au monde. Et juste pour vous rappeler, en termes de chiffres, que cette convention compte aujourd'hui 1157 biens repartis dans 167 pays, et ce qui affirme ainsi pour cette convention qu'elle est importante et que sa plus grande réussite en tant qu'instrument normatif est justement de s'occuper de la conservation du patrimoine naturel et culturel de notre planète. Suivant. Okay. Cet anniversaire, en fait, a été l'occasion de faire un bilan critique sur les 50 années passées et aussi de voir comment nous pourrions nous projeter sur le futur. Et compte tenu des transformations que la Convention connaît et compte tenu aussi des transformations que notre monde connaît et en vue de susciter une réflexion beaucoup plus large sur l'adaptation de la Convention face aux défis actuels. Et l'idée aussi était de recueillir des propositions de thématiques et de projets pour célébrer le 50e anniversaire. Et pour cela, l'UNESCO, vous vous rappelez, avait envoyé un questionnaire de sondage à tous les États membres, les gestionnaires des sites, les universitaires, ainsi que des experts. Et la synthèse des réponses qui avaient été reçues montre qu'une des réalisations les plus importantes de la Convention est qu'elle a servi comme outil pour identifier et sauvegarder les sites du patrimoine culturel et naturel de grande valeur par le biais de l'inscription sur la liste du patrimoine mondial. La Convention a aussi servi à élargir le champ normatif et a permis de sensibiliser les communautés locales à cette notion qu'est le patrimoine mondial pour mieux impacter leur mode de vie de manière globale, à la fois à l'intérieur des sites, mais aussi autour des sites du patrimoine mondial. Et la Convention du patrimoine mondial a permis de mobiliser la communauté internationale de façon globale et contribuer à la consolidation de la paix. Mais toutefois, face à un monde en constant changement, différents facteurs font obstacle à la mise en œuvre complète de cette convention. D'abord, il y a la question financière, de ressources financières et humaines qui constitue une barrière massive, et cela c'est encore pour la sauvegarde des sites, et cela s'est encore manifesté au cours de la période de la pandémie de Covid. Vous avez évoqué dans le précédent point de l'agenda avec beaucoup d'affirmations la question du changement climatique. Et la question du changement climatique est aussi ressortie comme une question qui est aujourd'hui le défi mondial le plus important pour le patrimoine culturel et naturel mondial. Et ensuite, vous avez eu les initiatives de développement qui sont souvent des initiatives qu'on qualifie de développement non durable. Ça peut aussi être des initiatives comme des questions liées d'urbanisation incontrôlée, les initiatives de développement urbain ou d'infrastructures mal planifiées, ainsi que, bien sûr, la destruction du patrimoine dans les conflits armés ou encore suite aux catastrophes naturelles, comme on vient de le voir récemment avec le Maroc, qui constituent des menaces majeures aussi pour le futur. Et les résultats qui sont sortis de cette enquête mettent l'accent sur l'importance d'avoir une représentativité équilibrée de toutes les régions géographiques. Et un autre défi consiste à poursuivre notre travail scientifique et éducatif sur le patrimoine afin qu'il puisse être mieux compris et donc mieux préservé et transmis aux générations futures, et notamment à la jeunesse, comme on l'a vu. Bien de bon nombre de biens du patrimoine mondial sont confrontés au défi d'un tourisme de masse, notamment le surtourisme, lorsque la pression touristique est trop forte. Et aujourd'hui, des engagements et des actions sont nécessaires pour reconstruire un tourisme qui soutienne les communautés, qui crée des emplois, promeuve la culture et protège le patrimoine et en assure la transmission pour les générations futures. Diapo suivante. Donc c'est dans cette optique que les résultats ont permis de bien définir le thème que nous avons utilisé pour la célébration du 50e anniversaire de la Convention, c'est-à-dire le patrimoine mondial comme source de résilience, d'humanité et d'innovation. Et cela pour objectif de relancer l'importance de la coopération internationale en lui donnant un espace fondé sur la culture, un cadre pour travailler aussi ensemble à l'avenir. Donc, pour résumer, plusieurs événements ont été accueillis, plusieurs événements ont été organisés aussi bien par l'UNESCO que par les États parties, les centres de catégorie 2 ou par les partenaires. Et je voudrais vraiment remercier l'ensemble des États parties qui ont organisé des événements au niveau national pour célébrer la Convention du patrimoine mondial. Et je voudrais en noter quelques-uns en étroite collaboration avec l'UNESCO, le ministère grec de la Culture et des Sports, ainsi que la délégation permanente de la Grèce auprès de l'UNESCO ont organisé une conférence internationale à Delphes, en Grèce, les 17 et 18 novembre 2022 pour discuter des différents défis auxquels sont confrontés les biens du patrimoine mondial. Ensuite, les ministres d'Afrique centrale, c'est-à-dire du Burundi, du Cameroun, du Congo, du Gabon, de la République centrafricaine, de la République démocratique du Congo, du Tchad, et Sao Tomé et Principe, ont lancé, à la suite d'une réunion en octobre 2022, un appel, et d'ailleurs il faut saluer cet appel qui a été lancé, un appel à l'action pour confronter les défis, initier un nouveau dynamisme et explorer de nouvelles possibilités liées à la mise en œuvre de la Convention du patrimoine mondial en Afrique, notamment en insistant sur les questions de trouver des voies beaucoup plus précises et beaucoup plus efficaces pour régler les questions de faible représentativité de cette région. Cet appel également a demandé des actions en matière de changement climatique, d'essayer de continuer à réfléchir sur l'équilibre entre conservation et développement durable et de travailler en faisant des efforts pour que les biens puissent être retirés de la liste du patrimoine mondial en péril, de renforcer les capacités des professionnels de la région africaine et surtout de faire participer les communautés vivant à l'intérieur ou autour des biens du patrimoine mondial qui en sont les principaux gardiens et garants depuis des générations. L'UNESCO a notamment aussi organisé donc une série de dialogues intitulés 50 penseurs pour les 50 prochaines années. Et donc ces penseurs ont exploré la signification du patrimoine mondial sous plusieurs angles dans le but de essayer de façonner d'une certaine manière une nouvelle vision inclusive dans laquelle les communautés, mais aussi les citoyens du monde puissent jouer un rôle actif. Et cela est d'autant plus important qu'aujourd'hui, la Convention est ratifiée de façon universelle. Et à la suite des différentes consultations, il y a eu des débats, 3 grands enjeux pour l'avenir du patrimoine mondial, effectivement, aujourd'hui ressortent à la suite de ces débats-là. Alors, je voudrais juste rapidement les résumer. Il y a d'abord la question de la conservation même des biens du patrimoine mondial. Et là, le changement climatique est vraiment la principale menace que nous mesurons de façon tangible aujourd'hui, qui est ressortie et qui est en fait une question à adresser dans le futur. Ensuite, vous avez la question de l'accès et l'inclusion pour tous des biens du patrimoine mondial et le fait de vraiment placer les communautés locales et les peuples autochtones ainsi que leur connaissance au cœur de la gestion du patrimoine mondial en les reconnaissant comme des acteurs clés et des détenteurs de droits. Et garantir l'inclusion sociale et économique implique également l'élaboration de stratégies de conservation du patrimoine qui promeuvent également des moyens de subsistance, surtout pour les communautés locales. Et les jeunes, et notamment, et là, grâce à l'utilisation de nouvelles technologies. Donc pour les jeunes en particulier, cela leur permettrait encore de devenir les nouveaux gardiens de ces biens. Et je suis heureux que les jeunes, dans leur message ce matin, ont repassé dans cette question effectivement de l'utilisation des nouvelles technologies. Et enfin, un point qui est ressorti aussi très important, c'est la question de la représentativité géographique. Et là, il faut dire qu'au cours des 50 dernières années, de nombreux sites ont été inscrits, mais nous avons encore 27 États parties qui n'ont aucun bien sur la liste du patrimoine mondial. Et 12 de ces États parties, comme l'a dit la directrice générale dans son discours ce matin, sont situés en Afrique et 15 sont dans les petits États insulaires en développement. Et à contrario, la région Europe et Amérique du Nord représente à elle seule 47% des biens inscrits. Alors l'UNESCO, le secrétariat, le Centre du patrimoine mondial, s'efforce d'intensifier ses efforts pour continuer à former davantage de professionnels africains afin de renforcer les capacités de sauvegarde de ce patrimoine. Donc voilà ce que je voulais dire sur ce point et je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director, for this presentation. And I would like to know whether there are any comments on the agenda item. Italy, the floor is yours.
Mr. Chair, from Italy too, all our support, together with the sincerest expressions of congratulations for your elections and of admiration for the excellent way of conducting these sessions. Let me join also the other member states in expressing the warmest feeling of sorrow and solidarity to the Kingdom of Morocco and the Moroccan people for the recent devastating earthquake that hit a land to which I am particularly attached because Morocco is the birthplace of my daughter. An emergency team from Italy, on a private basis from our civil protection, has already reached the areas hit by the earthquake to assist the population. I'm very happy to inform the committee. As far as the point in the agenda, Mr. Chair, 2022, this landmark year for the convention, arrived as the world faces new challenges affecting the economic, social, and cultural lives of people, as well as the devastating effects of armed conflicts. Combined with the accelerating environmental degradation exacerbated by the effect of climate change and widening social inequalities, we find ourselves in uncharted territory, questioning our fundamental values as individuals, society, and as a global community. Climate change, globalization, technological revolution, mass migration, urbanization, conflict, and the rise of inequalities are forcing us to reconsider our priorities and strategies. Within the heritage sector, these societal and environmental shifts are beginning to propel a more people-centered approach, enabling the safeguarding of heritage while meeting challenges of our time. In the spirit of our long-standing commitment in upholding the 1972 Convention values, and as a member of the committee, Italy intends to focus on the credibility and representativeness of the World Heritage List and to increase its effort to ensure a greater number of inscriptions in favor of countries with fewer inscribed sites. Given our prominent experience in this sector, Italy is ready to share its expertise with other partners, as well as to offer collaboration and technical support on conservation and restoration on cultural heritage. Secondly, Italy wishes to extend, ideally, the horizon of this anniversary, and we are proud to host an event in Naples, a conference on the cultural heritage in the 21st century in November, from the 27th to 29th November 2023. This event, co-organized by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, the Ministry of Culture and the Municipality of Naples, in collaboration with UNESCO, want to celebrate two landmark anniversaries, the 50th anniversary of the 1972 Convention and the 20th anniversary of the 2003 Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. The conference, we are sure, will represent a formidable opportunity to promote a global reflection on the main challenges related to the natural cultural heritage, both tangible and intangible, fostering deeper synergies between the two conventions and drawing up a framework for the future. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Your Excellency. South Africa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We would like to propose a minor amendment to the annex. It currently reflects that South Africa hosted a high-level panel in December. The event that we hosted was in May 2022, which was an expert meeting that was held in Cape Town under the theme World Heritage in Africa, Looking Back, Moving Ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Oman.
شكرا سيد الرئيس. سأتكلم بالعربي. أود أن أشكر الزميل لازار والسكرتاري على هذا التقرير الذي يذكرنا بأهمية الاحتفالية بالذكرى ال50 لهذه الاتفاقية. وهنا أود كذلك أن أتقدم بالشكر لكل الدول التي ساهمت مالياً لهذه الاحتفالية، وكذلك الشكر للدول التي احتفلت على المستوى الوطني. ولكن لابد هنا أن نتقدم أكثر بالشكر الجزيل لدولة اليونان للاحتفالية والمؤتمر الكبير في دلف وكرم ضيافتهم وحسن استقبالهم. ونتمنى من السكرتارية متابعة هذه التوصيات كما ذكر الزميل لازار، وشكرا.
شكرا جزيلا. Greece.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We would like to thank the Director of World Heritage Center for this excellent report. Greece was honored to celebrate the 50th anniversary of UNESCO's World Heritage Convention by hosting, in the sacred place of Delphi, an international conference under the title Next 50, the future of World Heritage in challenging times, enhancing resilience and sustainability. As it was already mentioned, this international conference was held in Delphi, an emblematic archaeological site, a World Heritage property carrying unique memories, precious historic cultural values of humankind, and was organized by the Ministry of Culture of Greece, together with the permanent delegation of Greece to UNESCO, and in cooperation with UNESCO and the World Heritage Center. The Prime Minister of Greece, UNESCO's Director General, and the Minister of Culture of Greece participated to this event. Moreover, this anniversary coincided with a critical point in man's history, when rising global challenges triggered unprecedented complex forms of threats against our common heritage. In this context, the aim of Delphi International Conference was primarily to highlight the importance and the potential of the World Heritage Convention to contribute to the identification and to the mitigation of all those factors affecting the cultural and natural heritage worldwide. Interdisciplinary discussions were held on the most critical factors that may affect tomorrow's heritage, including representativeness, accessibility, and sustainability. A special session addressed climate change impact and sustainable tourism, which were examined through case studies from different geographic regions, highlighting the common challenges we all are facing. This anniversary international conference also examined the overall policies in the context of the convention, giving special emphasis to priority Africa and to SIDS in order to achieve a more balanced, a more credible, and representative World Heritage List. In conclusion, Mr. Chair, it has been a great opportunity for my country to welcome experts from all over the world who actively participated in the international dialogue on UNESCO's achievements so far, as well as on assessing the way ahead. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Mali.
Monsieur le Président, en ratifiant la Convention de 1972 concernant la protection du patrimoine mondial, culturel et naturel en avril 1977, le Mali s'est engagé à la mettre en œuvre en inscrivant des sites sur la liste du patrimoine mondial et en produisant régulièrement des rapports périodiques sur l'état de conservation des sites. Les sites maliens du patrimoine mondial ont été jusqu'à l'éclatement de la crise de 2012 des destinations touristiques, par exemple, par excellence, et un potentiel majeur pour le développement socio-économique et culturel des collectivités locales qui les abritent. Les menaces et dommages d'ordre anthropique et naturel, conjugués aux impacts négatifs de la crise, ont engendré des défis de conservation et de promotion, notamment le maintien de leur authenticité, leur intégrité, leur protection durable et leur gestion efficace, d'où l'inscription de 3 des 4 sites sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en péril. Ce tableau nous indique les défis qu'affronte le Mali dans la mise en œuvre de la Convention, notamment dans la gestion de ces sites du patrimoine mondial. Toutefois, ces difficultés n'ont pas entamé la détermination du gouvernement malien à poursuivre ses efforts pour mettre en œuvre la Convention sur des aspects particuliers, à savoir l'implication des communautés vivant sur les sites. À ce titre, le Mali a pris conscience, suite à la crise de 2012, du fait que le patrimoine est un outil incontournable de conciliation, de cohésion sociale de façon durable, un agrégat qui contribue à créer de l'emploi au profit des communautés vivant sur les sites. C'est pourquoi mon pays s'est engagé à mettre à profit les facteurs culturels en renforcement du processus de réconciliation et de reconstruction enclenché par le gouvernement en se fondant sur le postulat que là où les armes échouent, la culture et le patrimoine trouvent la solution. Aussi, pour le Mali, le patrimoine est un héritage qu'il nous incombe de transmettre aux jeunes générations. Le constat à ce niveau n'est pas reluisant. Les jeunes se détournent du patrimoine pour diverses raisons, ce qui met en péril la conservation de notre histoire et de notre identité. Mais, en vue d'assurer la continuité et l'affirmation de l'identité culturelle, le gouvernement du Mali a mis en place un programme d'éducation au patrimoine pour la transmission du patrimoine culturel aux jeunes générations. En termes de représentativité de la région Afrique au patrimoine mondial, le Mali soutient toutes les initiatives tendant à doter le continent d'une expertise locale à la hauteur des défis de l'inscription et de la gestion. À ce titre, de nombreux ateliers de formation sont organisés par la Direction nationale du patrimoine culturel, aussi bien à l'intention des gestionnaires directs des sites que d'autres acteurs non négligeables du patrimoine. Nous estimons que cela contribuera certainement à l'atteinte de l'objectif d'une liste équilibrée, d'où notre appel à davantage de soutien pour poursuivre cette volonté. C'est donc avec engagement et solidarité que le Mali, depuis 2019, membre du comité, a montré toute sa disponibilité pour la protection, la préservation et la promotion des sites, aussi bien du continent africain que ceux du reste du monde. Cela s'est illustré, entre autres, par le soutien d'un ensemble de projets d'amendement au cours des différentes sessions ordinaires et extraordinaires de notre comité. Soulignons enfin que 50 ans, c'est déjà un âge honorable et la Convention a réalisé un parcours remarquable durant ce demi-siècle d'existence. Ce demi-siècle nous a relevé l'importance du patrimoine, mais aussi et surtout la nécessité de renforcer la coopération pour mutualiser les efforts en vue d'obtenir pour chaque État la visibilité qu'il mérite sur la lutte du patrimoine mondial. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Argentina.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Agradecemos y felicitamos a todos aquellos que organizaron actividades en el marco de las celebraciones del 50 aniversario de la Convención. La Argentina ha tenido el honor de participar de la conmemoración que se realizó en Delfos, en Grecia. A 50 años de su adopción, la Convención sobre el Patrimonio, la protección del patrimonio mundial, cultural y natural se ha convertido en la piedra angular de una comunidad internacional sensible ante los desafíos del desarrollo. Esta convención es una demostración cabal del compromiso de la comunidad internacional, confirmado por la acción del Sistema Internacional de Protección de Patrimonio, con la conservación, defensa, protección y preservación de todo aquello que hace bella y valiosa la experiencia humana sobre el planeta que habitamos. En las últimas décadas, el concepto de patrimonio se ha expandido, profundizado en todos sus sentidos. Desde su concepción original, centrada primero en los objetos y después en sitios y lugares, ha pasado a una comprensión más amplia, fundamentada en su significación cultural, en el conjunto de valores que representan un determinado grupo social o de una nación. En este contexto, el patrimonio ya no es solo parte de la historia, sino un reflejo de la permanente construcción de la memoria. Por lo tanto, las clasificaciones tradicionales del patrimonio están hoy sujetas a revisión, naciendo nuevas categorías que dan cuenta de una dimensión mucho más densa, rica, diversa, profunda del concepto. En Argentina, el desafío que vislumbramos en relación a la Convención y el desarrollo sostenible será trabajar con las verdaderas protagonistas de este sistema internacional de conservación de patrimonio, que son las comunidades locales, para garantizar que el patrimonio mundial, cultural y natural, y el patrimonio cultural inmaterial se fundan en un único fenómeno, íntima y estrechamente vinculado, y rescatando los valores y la cultura de nuestro pueblo para compartirla con todo el mundo, generaciones presentes y futuras. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. India.
Thank you very much, Chair, for giving us this opportunity. India would like to thank the Director of World Heritage Center and his team for presenting the activities held within the framework of the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the adoption of the World Heritage Convention. India has examined the report, and we note with great satisfaction the huge contribution that this convention has made in the identification of the world's iconic cultural, natural, and mixed heritage. It indeed has united the world with the ratification of convention by 195 states parties in identifying and celebrate the heritage for humanity, besides being an effective watchdog. We have gone through a number of activities and events undertaken by UNESCO, various Category 2 centers, and states parties, including India, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the convention during the period of November 21 to May 23. In the Bhopal Vision Statement that emerged out of a 3-day international event celebrating the 50th anniversary of the convention, the South Asian countries, noticeably from Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, discussed the prevalent challenges of the conservation and management of the World Heritage properties in the region. The declaration gave us an opportunity to call for a call of action on matters such as aligning with the SDGs, impact of climate change, intrinsic connect between the tangible and intangible heritage, and connecting communities with their heritage. Mr. Chair, these events across the world celebrating the 50th year of the convention gives us an impression how heritage is both a cause of concern as well as a reason for celebration, how it gives us a moment to introspect but gives us an opportunity to expand our vision of World Heritage in future. We would urge the World Heritage Center to compile the outcome of these events and prepare and publish a detailed report for the benefit of the member states. As we speak, there are 1,157 properties on the World Heritage List and nearly 1,768 on the tentative list. While the list seems impressive on one hand, it also gives us an idea of what lies ahead and what efforts need to be made in order to make this list larger, more inclusive, and geographically balanced than it is right now. Various statistics that are provided on the World Heritage Center website alarmingly remind us of the shortcomings that still exist. It tells us, as the DG UNESCO pointed out in her opening remarks, that 27 states parties yet do not have a single site, and nearly 135 states parties have less than 10 properties on the World Heritage List. It also tells us that the gap between the first 20 and the rest 175 states parties is still large. The report, while reminding us of the existing gaps, gives us an opportunity to reflect on the issues of imbalance, whether geographic or typological. It is also a concern about what the convention could not achieve in the past 50 years despite its best intentions, and makes us resolute on addressing this issue. Surely we should not take next 50 years to address this issue. India, to conclude, confirms its commitment toward making the World Heritage List of outstanding properties, cultural, natural, or mixed, more inclusive and balanced, and work towards providing opportunities to those states parties with lesser number of World Heritage properties to ensure adequate representation. We congratulate the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies for their continuing effort in this regard. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. The Russian Federation.
Спасибо, господин председатель. Российская Федерация также приняла активное участие в праздновании 50-летия Конвенции 1972 года. В декабре прошлого года в Казани состоялся международный форум, посвященный юбилею Конвенции, в котором приняли участие представители 56 стран. Благодарим секретариат и лично директора Центра всемирного наследия, нашего друга, господина Лазара Лундуасома, за участие и за видеоприветствие, направленное этому международному форуму. На форуме в Казани принята итоговая декларация, в которой, в частности, отмечается необходимость формирования репрезентативного, географически сбалансированного, заслуживающего доверия, справедливого списка всемирного наследия, представляющего все регионы мира, включая страны Африки и малые островные развивающиеся государства. Участники форума также призвали к укреплению международной солидарности перед лицом многочисленных угроз, вызовов сохранности культурного и природного наследия человечества, связанных с изменением климата, катаклизмами естественного и антропогенного происхождения. Спасибо.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. دولة قطر.
شكرا سيد الرئيس. أود بأن أشكر السيد لازار ومركز التراث العالمي على التقرير المقدم بما يخص احتفالية 50 عام لاتفاقية التراث العالمي. أود التأكيد على إيمان دولة قطر بفعالية هذه الاتفاقية الهامة للإنسانية جمعاء، بما لها من قيمة إضافية على تحقيق أهداف منظمة يونسكو النبيلة. كما شاركت دولة قطر، ونشكر بهذه المناسبة حكومة اليونان الصديقة التي قدمت احتفالية بهذه المناسبة العام الماضي، وكانت احتفالية جميلة وقدمت العديد من الفائدة لرفع الوعي المجتمع الدولي لأهمية اتفاقية 1972 لحماية التراث العالمي. شاركت دولة قطر ممثلة بمتاحف قطر وجامعة قطر على المستوى الوطني بهذه المناسبة لعدة أهداف، منها رفع الوعي لجميع الشركاء الوطنيين لتحقيق وزيادة فاعلية هذه الاتفاقية على المستوى الوطني من ناحية، ومن ناحية الأخرى هي زيادة وعي الجيل الحالي والجيل لأجيال المستقبل فيما يخص بآليات حماية التراث. نحن في قطر نعتبر التراث العالمي هي أحد روافد تحقيق أهداف التنمية المستدامة، ولذلك هذه الاتفاقية تعتبر من أهم الأطر الدولية لتحقيق هذه الأهداف. فشكرا سيد الرئيس.
شكرا جزيلا سعادتكم. So we have a request from one observer, Ukraine. You have the floor.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, ADG for Culture, Director of the World Heritage Center, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, taking this opportunity, let us congratulate the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the excellent organization of the 45th session of the World Heritage Committee. We would like also to congratulate Mr. Chairman on your election. We would like to congratulate Director of the World Heritage Center for the report and assistance for Ukraine. For us, it's very helpful. We would like also to express our solidarity and the deepest condolences to the people of Morocco, to the King and government of Morocco, because of the terrible earthquake which claimed thousands of human lives, many people injured. When we talk about the World Heritage Convention, the 50th anniversary, so let's recall this year, 2022. It was 50th anniversary of the World Heritage Convention. It was the year when member state of the World Heritage Committee, Russia, brutally invaded Ukraine, started war of aggression against our country. It was the year when the 45th session of the World Heritage Committee in Kazan was canceled because of this brutal war of aggression by Russia against our country, Ukraine. It was the year of the terrible shelling by missiles and rockets by Russia of all cities and regions of Ukraine. It was the year when Russia, as the country, brutally violated the Article number 6 of the World Heritage Convention.
Unfortunately, I have to interrupt you because we are not discussing any matters related to the items. So I'm sorry.
The World Heritage sites
please
in
conclude
Ukraine,
your statement.
in Odessa, in Lviv, and Kiev, and many
Sorry,
other
I have to
cities.
interrupt you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
for your attention.
So I see no more questions or comments, and I therefore invite you, dear colleagues, to proceed with the adoption of draft decision 45-13. But yeah. All good. So before we doing so, I would like to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendments on the draft decision proposed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have received no amendment for this draft decision 45-13. The distinguished delegation of South Africa mentioned an amendment on the Annex 3, which can be included in the summary proceedings of the session.
Okay, Mr. Director, yeah, you want to clarify on this?
No, thank you. And I would like to, first of all, of course, to confirm the information mentioned by the delegation of South Africa. I think there has been a mistake on the exact months of the event, and it's true. It was about the event which was organized in May. Absolutely. Thank you.
I may ask the rapporteur to put a draft decision on the screen.
The draft decision can be placed on the screen for adoption. I think we are just facing a technical glitch. Just be patient. The draft decision is on screen for adoption.
Thank you, Madam Rapporteur. So, shall we adopt the decision as amended? Any comments or objections? So, I see none. I therefore declare draft decision 45-13 adopted. So our next item is the report of the 3 advisory bodies to the World Heritage Committee on their activities. These reports are presented in the document 45-5B. The report of the advisory bodies span over 2-year periods, and they are therefore very comprehensive. Furthermore, as you will remember, in the line of the decision 18 ext.com3 and Annex 2 of document 2318x.com-3, this agenda item will be adopted without debate. Therefore, before going to the examination of the relevant draft decision, I would like to invite the representative of ICROM to briefly present its report. Please, you have the floor.
Shukran, Chairperson. First of all, let me thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the excellent organization of this committee, and also I thank the committee members and state parties of the World Heritage Convention for the continued support in the protection and management of World Heritage sites, and also providing ICROM the chance to present our report. As the capacity building advisory body to the World Heritage Committee, ICROM is deeply committed to provide technical, management, and policy capacity building to sites and state parties to ensure that the content shared in the activities is in keeping with the procedures and requirements needed by the World Heritage. ICROM coordinates this production of various manuals and guidelines in collaboration with ICOMOS and IUCN, and shares the content of these resources through the design and implementation of learning activities such as courses, forums, and workshops. ICROM works to enable both the individual heritage practitioners and responsible institutions to become change agencies for management of World Heritage places, and would like to request all state parties to the convention to provide the necessary means to site managers to attend these activities. ICROM strives to be the connecting hub of practitioners participating in these activities, through which we can also be the connecting hub, through which we are also able to provide a roster of professionals who can contribute to the various working processes of the convention. This year, ICROM continues to coordinate with partners of the 5th edition of the World Heritage Site Managers Forum, running parallel to this session of the committee, where we provide the chances of the World Heritage Site Managers to become part of the system and be more active and substantially be active in the process. ICROM collaborates with our member states, government, to build sustainable learning activities that are focused on specific themes and knowledge areas to fulfill our role and mandate. Through page 2 to 5 of document 5B, we have provided a list of activities of capacity building that we have implemented independently and those which we have collaborated with the IUCN, ICOMOS, and UNESCO World Heritage Center, and also with various World Heritage Category 2 centers. The activities cover both in-person and online modalities. ICROM's work on World Heritage is primarily coordinated through the joint program of World Heritage Leadership, fully coordinated with IUCN and ICOMOS. Allow me to emphasize that the World Heritage Leadership Program is a fully extra-budgetary program that operates outside the scope of the World Heritage Fund. We are sincerely thankful to all the countries who have funded this program, particularly the government of Norway, who continue to support this program and have indicated that they will continue supporting the program for the next 6 years, 2023 to 2028. This allows the program to operate fully. We also thank the government of the Republic of Korea for renewing the funding for the World Heritage Management course and impact assessment courses for the next 5 years. The government of Switzerland for the revision of the Enhancing Our Heritage Kit 2.0, and most recently the new funding from the Australian government for the development of a climate action toolkit, which will be jointly delivered by the 3 advisory bodies and UNESCO. ICROM will be hosting a number of side events during the committee session that will showcase the content of the new resource manuals and the various different learning activities that all state parties can take part in. During lunch today, we already covered the guidance and toolkit on the impact assessment in World Heritage context, together with the wind energy guidance in collaboration with the World Heritage Center. ICROM's capacity building activities can be tailor-made to different durations, modalities, specific needs, spanning across multiple languages. The content mainly focuses on themes such as World Heritage Management, Management Effectiveness Assessment, World Heritage Impact Assessment, and Disaster Risk Management and Climate Action. ICROM is also actively contributing the capacity building activities of other partners, such as the African Heritage Professionals Mentorship Program through our Youth Heritage Africa Program, which is funded by Italy and the French government. We also have a joint project with UNESCO in the Heritage Recovery Program in Mosul, Iraq, which is funded by the United Arab Emirates, which is just finalized. We have just finalized its 2-year program of building capacity for professional development and building and upgrading crafts in that place. ICROM's long-standing course on conservation of built heritage was implemented this year from March to June, where the curriculum has been revised to strengthen more sustainable conservation approaches. Ensuring diversity in resource people to coordinate and implement our activities is one of our underlying principles, and for this we continue to implement training of trainer activities, especially in collaboration with Category 2 centers, with notable partnership ongoing with ARC, WH, and AWHF. ICROM continues to participate and contribute to the numerous statutory meetings and activities that take place within the scope of the convention, the World Heritage Committee meeting, both ordinary and extraordinary, ad hoc working groups meeting, and the General Assembly. ICROM has been part of the state conservation discussions and draft processes between the Secretariat with the advisory bodies, and has been reviewing and advising on the international assistance requests. By invitation, ICROM also attends the 2 sessions of the ICOMOS panel for evaluation of nomination as a non-voting member. ICROM has also been part of a joint reactive and advisory mission to specific World Heritage properties. Continued contributions are made to the drafting processes of the climate change policy documents and other policy discussions, to the regional periodic reporting activities that are ongoing on the Asian Pacific, Latin America, and the Caribbean, as well as in Europe and North America regions. The details of the capacity building strategy evaluation will be shared with you in item 6, but I would like to take this opportunity to emphasize the importance and the great need for continued capacity building for site managers and also decision makers. With this, that can only help us to improve the management of World Heritage sites. And for us to be able to do that, we need your support and your actions. And this could be through financial, personal, technical, and in-kind assistance of capacity building. Shukran.
Thank you very much for this presentation. I now invite the representative of ICOMOS to briefly present its report. Please, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je vous prie d'accepter les remerciements de l'organisation consultative au Royaume d'Arabie Saoudite pour l'organisation de la session du comité. J'ai aussi le plaisir de donner cette intervention de la part de Madame Teresa Patricio, présidente de l'ICOMOS, qui voyage en ce moment après l'Assemblée générale de l'ICOMOS pour rejoindre la session du comité. Monsieur le Président, Mesdames les ambassadrices, Messieurs les ambassadeurs, chers collègues et amis du patrimoine, c'est un honneur de vous présenter le travail mené par l'ICOMOS pour la Convention du patrimoine mondial au cours des 2 dernières années et un plaisir de le faire enfin de vive voix. Avant tout, permettez-moi d'adresser nos condoléances et nos amitiés à nos collègues marocains. Nos comités de la région sont mobilisés depuis dimanche pour leur apporter un appui. Sans entrer dans le détail, puisque le rapport complet des activités de l'ICOMOS figure dans les documents diffusés par le secrétariat, je voudrais commencer par remercier les États parties avec lesquels nous avons été amenés à travailler en 2022 et 2023 pour leur coopération et leur flexibilité. Que ce soit pour l'organisation de missions d'évaluation ou l'élaboration de rapports d'état de conservation souhaités dans des situations perturbées par la pandémie ou des conflits, ou encore pour l'évaluation tardive de sites de mémoire associés à des conflits récents, il nous a fallu nous adapter ensemble à des circonstances inédites. Et malgré les aléas, les délais réduits et les difficultés, nous y sommes parvenus. Je voudrais également souligner l'importance et les effets bénéfiques des nouveaux espaces d'échange et de dialogue entre États parties et organisations consultatives. Vous aurez peut-être constaté à la lecture de notre rapport que les activités de conseil, qu'il s'agisse de conseils en amont sur les nominations en cours de préparation, d'ateliers de travail sur les listes indicatives ou des missions consultatives en lien avec des projets de conservation et de développement, se sont significativement développés au cours des dernières années. Dans la mesure où ils facilitent le dialogue entre experts nationaux et experts internationaux et permettent, le cas échéant, de mieux anticiper les difficultés, ces échanges sont extrêmement fructueux. Le retour d'expérience en atteste clairement. Enfin, il serait impossible de conclure sans partager avec vous nos craintes concernant l'insuffisance des ressources allouées à la mise en œuvre de la Convention par le biais du Fonds du patrimoine mondial.
Pour une organisation comme la nôtre, qui a inscrit cet engagement au cœur de ses missions, c'est une inquiétude profonde, car il nous semble que désormais la pérennité de la Convention est directement menacée. En vous remerciant, Monsieur le Président, pour ce temps de parole, nous sommes prêts à répondre à d'éventuelles questions. Merci.
Thank you very much for the fruitful presentation. I'll now invite the representative of IUCN to take the floor on this subject. Please, you have the floor.
شكرا سيدي الرئيس. بما أن هذه المرة الأولى التي يتحدث بها الاتحاد الدولي لحماية الطبيعة وبصفتي مديرا للمكتب الإقليمي لغرب آسيا التابع للاتحاد الدولي لحماية الطبيعة، أود أن أشكر المملكة العربية السعودية على استضافة هذه الدورة الموسعة للجنة التراث العالمي وعلى حسن الاستقبال والضيافة. أيضا يتقدم الاتحاد بخالص التعازي لحكومة المغرب وشعبها في ضحايا الزلزال المؤلم. سيدي الرئيس، منذ الدورة الأخيرة للجنة وصل الاتحاد الدولي لحماية الطبيعة تقديم المشورة الفنية إلى اللجنة والدول الأطراف في إطار دوره القانوني بموجب الاتفاقية وتقديم توصياته بشأن حالة الحفظ والحماية لحوالي 100 موقع لهذه الدورة، وتقييم 20 ملف ترشيح بموجب المعايير الطبيعية، كما قام ببعثات للتقييم والرصد والمشورة وأنشطة بناء القدرات، كما ساهم في العمل التمهيدي والمساعدة الدولية وغيرها من المجالات. يواصل الاتحاد الدولي لحماية الطبيعة تقديم الدعم بشكل كبير من خلال التمويل المباشر والدعم العيني لاتفاقيات التراث العالمي، ولا زال يشعر بقلق عميق إزاء العدد من المتزايد من الطلبات والاحتياجات غير الممولة والتي تعاني من نقص التمويل على الهيئات الاستشارية ومركز التراث العالمي. بالإضافة إلى دورنا القانوني، واصل الاتحاد أيضا بوضع التراث العالمي على أجندة المؤتمرات الكبرى، بما في ذلك المؤتمر العالمي لحماية الطبيعة لعام 2021 الذي وضع أيضا جدول الأعمال العالمي للاتحاد من خلال برنامج الطبيعة 2030، وكذلك في مؤتمر محميات آسيا الثاني الذي عقد في ماليزيا، وأول مؤتمر للمناطق المحمية في أفريقيا في رواندا في عام 2022. كما أطلق الاتحاد وإكروم جنبا إلى جنب مع إيكوموس ولجنة التراث العالمي العالمية في عام 2022 المرحلة الثانية من البرنامج الرائد لقيادة التراث العالمي لبناء القدرات بدعم مالي من النرويج. في عام 2022 عندما احتفلنا بالذكرى السنوية 50 للاتفاقية، وقمنا بإجراء مراجعة استراتيجية خارجية لتقييم مشاركة الاتحاد في الاتفاقية، ونتيجة لذلك يسرنا أن نقدم استراتيجيتنا الجديدة للتراث العالمي، والتي ستوجه أولويات الاتحاد الدولي لحماية الطبيعة فيما يتعلق بالتراث العالمي حتى عام 2030 وما بعده. كما ندعوكم للانضمام إلى فعالياتنا الجانبية مساء يوم غد في المنطقة المخصصة للABS. تشمل أولوياتنا دعم وتنفيذ برامج صون الطبيعة على مستوى العالم، وإعطاء الأولوية للمجتمعات المحلية واحترام حقوقها، وتقديم سلسلة من خطط العمل الفعالة الإقليمية الجديدة للتراث العالمي التي سيتم تنسيقها عبر المكاتب الإقليمية والقطرية التابعة للاتحاد. ختاماً، إن تحقيق أهداف وطموحات الاتحاد الدولي لحماية الطبيعة يتطلب أن يعمل مجتمع التراث العالمي معاً. شكراً سيادة الرئيس.
شكراً جزيلاً على العرض الشامل. I'd like now to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendments on the draft decision proposed.
It's in French. You have in English? You have one in English?
Have you received any amendment on the draft decision proposed?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have received one amendment from the distinguished delegation of South Africa, supported by the distinguished delegation of Qatar. The amendment proposes to rephrase para 3, and there is an additional para 4 to be added. If we can get both the paras on the screen, I'm just going to read out the text for para 3 and para 4. Para 3, the revised para 3 now reads as, mindful of the efforts undertaken by the advisory bodies, ICROM, ICOMOS, and IUCN, to respond to the exceptional situation created by the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the efforts of ICOMOS to improve the geographical balance of its evaluation panels. The new para 4 reads as, reiterating the importance of transparency and publishing principles and criteria for selection of experts to missions, evaluations, and panels, as well as the strengthening efforts to enhance dialogue and provision of early advice to states parties and to achieve better regional representation and take into consideration the divergence of the expertise views based on profession, geographical, and cultural perspectives. Rest of the paras stay as they are. So this is the amendment proposed. Thank you.
Egypt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My delegation would like to thank the delegation of South Africa for this amendment and would like to add its name as the co-author of this amendment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ethiopia.
Thank you, Chair, for giving us the floor. Ethiopia would also like to co-author this amendment and thank the delegations of South Africa and Qatar for making pertinent amendment that we really support. Thank you.
Thank you. Russian Federation.
Спасибо, господин председатель. Благодарим Южную Африку и Катар за поправки и присоединяемся в качестве соавтора к ним. Спасибо.
Thank you. Oman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like also to add our name there, and we support this amendment. And we'd like to thank South Africa, Qatar, Egypt, and Ethiopia, and Russian Federation. I thank you.
Thank you. Mali.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le Mali soutient l'amendement en se portant en co-auteur. Merci.
Nigeria.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to join Qatar, Egypt, Ethiopia, Russian Republic, and all others to add our support on this particular item. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. St. Vincent and Grenadine.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines would like to add our support to this amendment.
Thank you very much. Mamlaka Arabia Saudi.
We'd like to add we would like to support this amendment, and we'd like to add our name, Saudi Arabia.
Shukran jazilan. Rwanda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Rwanda would also like to add its voice and support the proposed amendment. Thank you.
Mamlaka Arabia Saudi. India.
Excellency, please add India's name as well.
Thank you very much. Japan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And we would also like to support this amendment
and it is in line with other suggestions that we are making under item 7. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mexico?
Gracias, presidente. También nos anexamos, por favor, a la enmienda.
Thank you very much. Since there's a consensus and agreement on Greece.
Thank you, Chair. We would also like to support this amendment.
Argentina?
We would like to support also.
Thank you so much. Bulgaria?
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Bulgaria also wants to support this amendment.
Thank you very much. Zambia?
Chair, Zambia would like to support the amendment as well.
Thank you very much. Belgium?
Yes, thank you, Chair. We also like to support. I think there is a consensus on this DR. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Italy?
Italy too want to support the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thailand?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We also would like to support the 2 paragraphs. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So since there's a consensus on it, and I propose that we adopt the draft decision as amended. If there is no comment or objection. So I see none, and I therefore declare draft decision 45 5A adopted as amended. Apologize. So I therefore declare draft decision 45 5B adopted as amended. Sorry. Dear colleagues, dear friends, we will move now to the next item, which concerns Priority Africa and World Heritage, contained in document 45.com-5C. Allow me in this regard to give the floor to Mr. Mohamed Juma, Chief of the Africa Unit of the World Heritage Center, to present to us this crucial document for the future implementation of World Heritage Convention in Africa region. Please, sir, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished member of the committee, good afternoon. At its 42nd session in Manama, Bahrain in 2018, the World Heritage Committee requested the Secretariat for the first time to report on Priority Africa, Sustainable Development, and World Heritage. In 2021, by its decision 44.5C, the committee further requested the Secretariat to present a progressive report on Priority Africa, Sustainable Development, and World Heritage in line with medium-term strategy 2022-2029 and program and budget for 2022-25 at its 46th session. In response to the request from committee, but also the vision crafted by Director General of UNESCO, Madame Audrey Azoulay, in 2021, during the 44th session, Fuzhou, China, I would like to present a strategy for World Heritage in Africa in line with decision 2012 of the Executive Board and the 41st session of UNESCO General Conference in 2021. To facilitate this presentation, Mr. Chair, I have prepared PowerPoint presentation. Next. Mr. Chair, distinguished member of the committee, I believe that the first question that comes to our mind is why strategy for Africa? At its 44th session, next. At its 44th session in Fuzhou, China, and in preparing the celebration of 50th anniversary of the World Heritage Convention, the Director General expressed her vision of World Heritage in Africa. She invited all of us to engage in reflection on the universality of 1972 Convention. In addition, she promised to initiate a shared analysis of the situation in Africa and propose to bridge in new ideas for your support in this regard. As you recall, Mr. Chair and distinguished members, in parallel to her vision, the Executive Board at its 2012 session was discussing the revision of first operational strategy for Priority Africa 2014-2019. Shortly after, the General Conference adopted the new operational strategy for Priority Africa 2022-29 with 5 flagships. The flagship 3, fostering cultural heritage and capacity development, had 2 main objectives. The first objective, supporting African member states in World Heritage capacity building, and the second objective, supporting Africa member states in fighting against illicit trafficking and cultural property, in facilitating return and restitution of cultural property. The World Heritage Center, in implementing the first main objective of flagship 3, prepare this strategy. Next. The discussion during the Executive Board, Mr. Chair and distinguished member, and General Conference in 2021 were conducted as a background of this strategy that we are preparing, namely Sustainable Development Goals of 20 and Agenda 2023, Africa We Want, and of course, it was a background of Strategy 14 and Inspiration 5. Next. Chair, Mr. Chair and the distinguished member, how do we develop this strategy? I could not find a better image to present our work than this image from Jenny. You can see, Mr. Chair, this young man is passionate, concentrating, struggling, and taking risks to stretch the maximum of his capacity to reach the objective, plastering the magnificent mosque of Jenny. This is particular what else our Assistant Director General requests us in innovating to reach our objective to develop a strategy for World Heritage in Africa. Next. In a nutshell, I can say that the developing strategy had 3 phases. In the first phase, from November 2021, IDG CLT launched the process after selecting experts, creating teams to facilitate process. I want to thank Professor Dawson Munjeri, a veteran practitioner and senior expert from Zimbabwe, for accepting the call of our IDG to lead expert team, supported by World Heritage Center and the all UNESCO field office in Africa. This team worked in very close collaboration with African Water Fund and all advisory body, ICOMOS, ICROM, and IUCN. Next. The consultation process was the second phase. More than 200 stakeholders were consulted. On-site and online meetings were organized in Kenya, Ethiopia, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa. We also had the privilege to engage 8 ambassadors from Egypt, Gabon, Kenya, Senegal, South Africa, Tunisia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Next. The final phase consisted of finalizing the documents and also integrating elements from new reflection during the Mondial Cult Conference and celebration of 50th anniversary of 1972 Convention. For Africa, the most outcome within this reflection is the Yaoundé Call to Action, signed by ministers in charge of cultural and cultural heritage from Central Africa who met in Yaoundé in 2022. Next. Chair, Mr. Chair and distinguished member, what was our target for this strategy? Before going to the target, let me say that it took us a very short time to prepare the strategy because the background information was already available. You recall that in 2021, committee members in decision 44 COMS 10C2 and 10C3 approved regional action plan for both Africa and Arab states following the third periodic reporting exercise. This is to say that during the process, we had information regarding the continent of Africa and its challenge. Our consultation came up with the extra information, which were summed up into 7 issues related to heritage in Africa. Next. And this is 7 issues, Mr. Chair, were the representativity of Africa heritage in World Heritage List, removing African side from danger listing, empowering African experts, enabling social economic development vis-à-vis heritage, engaging youth and women, promoting the use of digital innovation technology, and involving local community and civil society. Next. Following this intense discussion, Mr. Chair and distinguished member, we come up with a vision, 3 guiding principles and 5 pillars and 7 priorities. I don't want to go to the guiding principle, but the idea was to go up bottom-up approach and have a collaborative approach and, of course, inclusive process. This is what we did. So the priority, Mr. Chairs, was the priority 1, ensure the representativity of Africa on World Heritage List to foster its rich identity and diversity. And the second priority was developing and reinforce capacity of institutions, university, and experts in Africa in partnership with African World Health Fund. The third priority was empower local stewardship to forge lasting coalition with community to strengthen the implementation of a convention. And the fourth priority was champion inclusive and synergy, safeguarding, planning, and protecting heritage in safe of multiple risks. The fifth one was establishing strong link between all cultural convention and program to foster into-African cooperation and heritage. The sixth one was harnessing good conservation for social economic development and sustainable livelihood. And the last one was support the use of innovative technology in safeguarding and promoting African heritage. Next. Following this priority, Mr. Chair, the strategy has a total of 25 activities, but each one of these activities has different targets. In front of you, Mr. Chair and distinguished members, is some of the priorities that we have started to work. For example, some of the targets which have already started to implement. For example, as has been said today by our ADG, the idea of supporting countries, 12 African countries who doesn't have the site on World Heritage List is very, very important for us. But in our the target is by 2025, 12 countries with no site has to develop their nomination dossier. Increasing number of our African World sites is a very important priority for us. By 2029, we want to make sure that 20% of African sites they are on they are increased on World Heritage List. Of course, idea for capacity building also. This morning, our DG also mentioned the idea of danger listing. So our target is by 2025, 100% of African property establish their corrective measure that will allow them to take out of danger listing. Capacity building of experts, as it's been said, also this morning, by 2025, we wanted to groom 50 African heritage experts, 25 should be women, and the 25 will be men. We have also idea of establishing Pan-African network to support site manager from Africa to help each other. That was an important target which we have corrected. Next. Mr. Chair, I want just to go with few examples to see the achievement when it comes to this target. As per today, regarding nomination, UNESCO is supporting 12 countries which have no list in World Heritage List. We are working with Burundi, we are working with Comoro, Djibouti, Guinea Equatorial, Eswatini, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Rwanda, Sao Tome and Principe, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Sudan. All of these sites today, all of these countries today, we are working with them to support nomination this year. Regarding capacity building, we have already engaged 40 mentees, 20 women and 20 men to make sure that they are part of World Heritage System. We are supporting establishment of 5 UNESCO chairs in Africa. 2 of them, they've already been established, one in Malawi and one in Egypt. Regarding youth, we have engaged, UNESCO has engaged fundraising, and we have now 2.5 million USD from Saudi Arabia, thank the government of Saudi Arabia, to create a project for innovative entrepreneurship, employment, cultural industry, cultural education, and this will target particularly youth and women. 6 countries which are now, we're working with them, pilot project, which are Comoro, Ghana, Gabon, Namibia, Mauritania, United Republic of Tanzania. Next. Mr. Chair, to implement this strategy, we estimated that nearly 25 million USD will be required to do this, to implement this strategy for next 7 years. UNESCO has already started to implement activity strategy for flagship 3, mobilize funds from different countries. The activity we are doing today, Mr. Chair, we mobilize funds from China, France, Japan, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Netherlands, Norway, Sultanate of Oman, and World Heritage Fund. Finally, Mr. Chair, before closing my presentation, I want to take this opportunity to thank our Assistant Director General, Mr. Otone, and our Director, Mr. Lazaro Orun, for their confidence on me and my colleague May, for giving me and my colleague May a chance to lead this process for developing this important strategy for Africa. Thanks to my colleagues in Africa Field Office, we're working very closely in this process. I want to thank also our experts, Professor Munjeri, our expert also from Tanzania, James Wakibara, and another expert from Senegal, Madame Alisa Berry, for their work on this project. My gratitude to my colleagues, may share, as I say, and her colleagues and her teams, who are working together to develop this strategy. The strategy was finalized because our administration units and our executive office at the ADG office, they were also very, very close with us. Finally, all merits of this strategy, Mr. Chair, is going to my team, African Unit. We work very closely with me to support me to lead this process and create this. Thank you. Mr. Chair and distinguished member of committee, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for you and the team. I would like to know if there's any comments on the agenda item. Japan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. As we said earlier, Priority Africa is one of the major items when we consider our cooperation for UNESCO in terms of the World Heritage protection. In this context, I would like to touch on 3 aspects of our cooperation for Africa. The first, let me touch on tombs of Buganda kings at Kasbi. This property has a profound impact by the fire in 2010, but as a result of strenuous efforts by the government of Uganda, as well as UNESCO, to rebuild and preserve parts of this property, this committee is currently in a position to consider the removal of this property from the list of World Heritage in danger. Japan shares a common tradition of what is called thatching with Uganda, which has made it possible for us to cooperate both in terms of supply of technology and of supply of finance at the same time. This experience was a very meaningful one for us as well. Another project I wish to touch on now is the capacity building program for the nomination of World Heritage sites in the African region. This this project is a part of the project which was introduced by the director of African section of the World Heritage Center earlier. This is designed to assist 10 countries who are among the 12 countries without any inscription so far in the World Heritage List. We believe that this is a timely and necessary project designed to enhance the representativeness of African properties in the World Heritage List. Since its inception in 2021, this project has produced steady progress, which has led to the nomination by Rwanda of Nyungwa National Park, as well as submission of tentative list by Sao Tome and Principe. We are grateful to the World Heritage Center for those achievements, and we would like to see further achievement in relation to other member states preparing for their nomination. Finally, we have a project in Cabo Verde which is planned to protect the World Heritage Site by promoting tourism and regional revitalization. All in all, Japan has made contribution to Priority Africa through a series of UNESCO projects, and we will continue to do so. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Egypt?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I would like at the outset to thank Mr. Mohammed Jum'a for his presentation and to commend the culture sector and the World Heritage Center for preparing this important document as part of the implementation process of the flagship program on culture in the new operational strategy for Priority Africa 2022-2029, adopted by the member states in the 41st General Conference in November 2021. And in particular, the first main objective of this flagship program, which focuses on supporting the African member states in the 1972 World Heritage Convention. The implementation of this strategy is crucial to address the challenges facing the implementation of the convention in Africa, which represents around 40% of the sites inscribed on the list of World Heritage in danger, in addition to the contemporary challenges facing most of our heritage sites in terms of development needs, population increase, climate change, and lack of management system. We request the World Heritage Center to continue fundraising the required resources for the implementation process in collaboration with the Group of Friends for Priority Africa and to report on its progress on a regular basis annually. My delegation co-authored the amendments presented by Rwanda on the draft decision of this agenda item and requests the committee members to adopt it as amended. One last request, Mr. Chair. I would like to address in the context of the Priority Africa's flagship program on culture, which with regard to the second main objective of this flagship, focusing on supporting the African member states in the fight against the illicit trafficking of cultural property, return and restitution requests in line with the 1970 Convention and the ICP-RCP. We request the culture sector Secretariat to develop a strategy for this objective as well, and to present it to member states. Unfortunately, Mr. Otan just left, so I really wish that he could listen to this. And we request the culture sector to develop a strategy for this objective as well, and to present it to member states at the earliest convenience, in order to allow member states to keep track in following up on the achieved results in the implementation of the whole flagship program on culture, with its two objectives, which represent together a priority as identified and drafted by the African member states and adopted by the General Conference. I thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Nigeria?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me the floor. May I thank once again the World Heritage Center for the report on Priority Africa as a strategy for World Heritage. The report indeed provides ample information on what has been done and the way forward on the flagship program 3 on culture in the framework of the operational strategy for Priority Africa 2022-2029. Our delegation has the following observation to make. It's been close to 2 years since the adoption of the operational strategy, This invariably means that implementation should already be at top gear. However, the report before us basically provides analysis of challenges, recommendations, and proposals of ways forward. We therefore urge the World Heritage Center to improve on its approach, and Nigeria would like to see progress in its report on the subject in the next session of the committee. Secondly, it will be helpful to ensure that the operational strategy is implemented in complementary to the regional action plan for Africa, following the third cycle reporting exercise. In this regard, African stakeholders, pioneers of the action plan, will be very useful in carrying forward this complementary approach to ensure efficiency and delivery as one, rather than duplicating efforts and strategies that may hamper coherent success in achieving the earmarked objectives. We underscore the need for the strategy for the World Heritage in Africa to be fully funded, while recognizing and thanking the government of countries who have financially supported activities contributing to the targets. We draw attention to the crucial role of the Africa World Heritage Fund in the implementation of the strategy and call for a wider international support for the fund. The fund remains a pivot for a better coordination mechanism to improve Africa's stake in world heritage and sustainable development matters. We subscribe also to the notion that effort to strike an adequate balance between conservation and socio-economic transformation is presently limited, and all the promotion of targeted programs to balance conservation needs with socio-economic development in developing economies of Africa. This view is essential for the sake of equity in varying development trajectories. Finally, Nigeria aligns itself with the amendments proposed by Rwanda to the draft decision on this item. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Russian Federation.
Спасибо, уважаемый господин председатель. Приветствуем усилия секретариата по разработке стратегии для всемирного наследия Африки. Исходим из того, что работа на этом направлении велась в тесном контакте с заинтересованными государствами и полностью учитывает интересы африканского континента, а также сопрягается с целями и задачами оперативной стратегии ЮНЕСКО по приоритету Африка на 2022-2029 годы. Российская Федерация придает особое значение гуманитарному измерению нашего сотрудничества с африканскими странами. Этому было уделено большое внимание в ходе прошедшего в июле сего года второго саммита «Россия-Африка». В декларации саммита, в частности, записано стремление Российской Федерации и африканских стран развивать сотрудничество в области образования, научно-технического сотрудничества, сохранения, реставрации и охраны культурного наследия Африки. Готовы делиться богатым опытом и экспертным потенциалом нашей страны для реализации принимаемой стратегии, в частности, в сфере создания национального потенциала для того, чтобы формировать сбалансированный список всемирного наследия. И Российская Федерация хотела бы присоединиться в качестве соавтора поправкам к решению, которое подали Египет, Южноафриканская Республика и Эфиопия. Спасибо.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. South Africa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for giving South Africa the floor. The African continent is endowed with some of the most spectacular sites on earth. These natural and cultural heritage sites are rich in their diversity, each possessing their own and outstanding universal value and unique qualities. We are well aware, however, that Africa currently only has 141 properties that are inscribed on the World Heritage List. And unfortunately, many of these sites face significant challenges. As a collective, African member states are therefore pleased to have the flagship Program 3, Fostering Cultural Heritage and Capacity Development, included in UNESCO's operational strategy for Priority Africa 2022 to 2029. Since its adoption during the General Conference in 2021, the African member states have been eagerly awaiting the implementation of Flagship Program 3. We therefore wish to thank the Center for now releasing its planned strategy to implement this cultural program for Priority Africa with its specific and clearly identified goals and targets to implement the 5 key objectives of Flagship Program 3. Although this implementation plan only focuses on Objective 1 of the Flagship Program, we are pleased to see that the targets have been set out for 2025 and 2029 respectively, with an estimated budget for each output. However, the targets set by the Center are highly ambitious and they will require adequate human and financial resources to ensure that they are realized. The Africa Group has often received information on the financial expenditure allocated to Priority Africa. However, we all recognize that financial expenditure does not necessarily equate to targets being met. We are therefore pleased to see that the strategy talks to the important role that the Category 2 centers play in supporting African states in preserving their cultural and natural heritage. Mr. Chair, as you are aware, the African World Heritage Fund is a Category 2 center with a mission to support the effective conservation and protection of natural and cultural heritage of outstanding universal value in Africa. In this regard, South Africa also aligns itself with a statement made specifically by Nigeria and also by Egypt. Going forward, and to ensure that there is no duplication of efforts, but that all activities are impactful, South Africa proposes that the center clearly define and indicate to the committee how it intends to practically work together with the African World Heritage Fund and the Arab Regional Center for World Heritage to achieve the targets set in the strategy. Further, that the center clarify how they foresee the role to be of each stakeholders to best assist these countries most in need of assistance and to ensure that resources are made available to Africa. Finally, South Africa fully supports the amendment proposed by Rwanda to the DR. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Italy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We wish to confirm our deepest appreciation to the Secretariat for the attention given to the African continent within the framework of a global strategy which recognizes Africa as a priority for the whole UNESCO membership. However, the 50th anniversary of the World Heritage Convention, as highlighted already by several member states, tells us that African regions are still heavily underrepresented in the World Heritage list. And Italy, as a member of the World Heritage Committee, would like to take this opportunity to renew its commitment to be more active on this sensitive matter. We are pleased to have already started the discussions with the World Heritage Center, and I want to thank Director Lazare Lundu, on the perspective of establishing a funds in trust with the allocation of voluntary Italian financial resources. And I would like to take this opportunity to renew the commitment to increase our efforts to finalize this perspective. Because only through joint effective actions of capacity building and technical assistance we can ensure a greater number of inscriptions, especially in favor of African countries with non-inscribed sites. There is a collateral aspect that I want also to raise that can look like a secondary aspect, but it matters also. In our opinion, we are confident that the enhancement of African cultural heritage will strengthen also the dialogue with peoples of the African diaspora in our societies, and can therefore act as an actor of further integration, inclusion, recognition. To this regard, we are glad to recall a recent initiative of our National Commission for UNESCO, planned on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the 1972 Convention, a photographic exhibition devoted to cultural and natural heritage of the native countries of the immigrants communities settled in Italy, realized with photos taken by the immigrants themselves, an exhibition that after Rome and Bologna, I hope to take soon at Fontenoy. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ethiopia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to thank the World Heritage Center, and particularly the director of the African unit, Mr. Mohamed Juma, and his staff for the comprehensive report. Following the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the 1972 Convention for the Protection of the World Cultural and Natural Heritage, consecutive strategies for the World Heritage in Africa have been developed, including the aspiration to harness good heritage conservation practice for the economic transformation within the African region. The current second strategy clearly stipulates decisive 3 principles, 5 pillars, and 7 priorities, which are indeed all in line with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the African Agenda 2063. However, its implementation leaves much to be desired. As I have tried to reflect this morning, despite states parties' repetitive call to reverse the structural imbalances on the representation of African properties in the World Heritage List, at various General Assemblies and meetings of the committee, we're still a long way from achieving it. I would like to thank the European Union, the government of China, Belgium, France, Japan, the Netherlands, Norway, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the Sultanate of Oman for the financial support they extended to implement the activities of the strategy in Africa. However, having 12 state parties with no inscription in the World Heritage List, despite their rich, outstanding universal values, and in contrast, a huge percentage in endangered list is not honorable. In my native Ethiopia, there is a proverb which goes like this, which more or less translates, a tear will not be a big deal if it doesn't emanate from the bottom of one's heart. Let us put special emphasis on this. Our Africans' very rich, diversified, and outstanding cultural and natural properties should be preserved as part of the World Heritage of mankind. Finally, Ethiopia supports the amendment presented by our African colleagues. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Next, Oman.
شكرا سعادة الرئيس. أولاً أود أن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل للأخ محمد ولمركز التراث العالمي على هذا التقرير الشامل والمفصل، وأود أن أضم صوتي إلى صوت جمهورية مصر العربية، نيجيريا، أثيوبيا، اليابان وغيرهم فيما ورد في مداخلاتهم. مهما عملنا من جهد للقارة الإفريقية سيبقى العمل ناقصاً ما لم نستمر في دعم الدول الإفريقية في بناء الملفات الخاصة لتقديمها للجنة التراث العالمي. ذكرت في تقريرك الأخ محمد بناء القدرات capacity building، فأرجو أن يستمر المركز التراث العالمي في هذا المجال، أي في مجال بناء القدرات، من أجل أن تتبنى الدول بناء ملفاتها الخاصة بها من أجل تسجيلها في مواقع التراث العالمي. كما ندعو أن تعطى القارة الإفريقية الأولوية في تقييم الملفات وتسجيل المواقع، كونها تتمتع بإرث حضاري غني وهي في القائمة ما زالت متأخرة. وشكرا.
Shukran jazilan. I think I would like to ask the director about the list of committee members who requested the floor.
سيد الرئيس،
قطر
طلبت الكلمة، ما أدري هل هذا الدور ولا
سوف يتم تحديث القائمة الآن من أجل إكمال غدا بإذن الله.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Alors, les derniers membres du comité qui doivent s'exprimer sont la Zambie, le Mali, la Belgique et le Qatar. Ensuite, des États observateurs ont demandé la parole. Il s'agit de l'Arménie et du Royaume-Uni. Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Mr. Director. I would like to ask if any other committee members or state parties would like to take the floor so that we can close the list.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zambia, as a state party to the convention, would like to join the rest of the members of the committee in congratulating...
Excuse me, I would like to ask you to resume your intervention tomorrow. So we are like counting the list to close the all interventions. We will start tomorrow. So, Director, can you inform us about the list of the observers?
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Alors, la liste des observateurs, nous avons l'Arménie, le Royaume-Uni et l'Ukraine. Et nous avons un autre pays qui demande la parole au fond à gauche. Je n'arrive pas à voir la plaque à partir d'ici. Vous pouvez prendre la parole pour dire le nom de votre pays, s'il vous plaît?
Sí, presidente. Paraguay.
Alors nous rajoutons le Paraguay.
So we can say that the list is closed. So, dear colleagues, considering the delays encountered in our first day of the decisions, I would like to inform you that we will resume our work tomorrow morning while examining of the following items: 5C, the continuation of this item, also 5D and 6. Then item 7 as scheduled, ready for tomorrow. So thank you very much and wish you a pleasant and lovely evening. Thank you all.
Maybe before you leave, just to remind you, distinguished members of the committee, that the Bureau meeting will take place tomorrow at 9:30. Thank you.
You can say.
So I'd like to inform you we'll reconvene tomorrow morning at 10 after the Bureau meeting. So the session is over for today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to inform you that the 3 scheduled night visits to Al Turaif, the Line Exhibition, and Al Masmak Palace are confirmed. Please proceed to the pickup and drop-off areas allocated at the Prince Sultan Hall. Thank you.